grew and smoldered, and they grew deep into the roots of these trees. So today at the Incident Command Center briefing, Superior National Forest Fire Management Officer Nick Petrak described kind of what he called a deep fire.
Oftentimes when it gets really dry, the fire will come down and then kind of burn in the duff before it comes back and reaches the surface. So your needle litter, your grasses, that's what's carrying the fire for the most part.
And Laura, the wind, you mentioned it, the heat, the smoke, and the difficult terrain. This Nick also mentioned they're likely to be fighting this fire until the snow falls.
That's just crazy. I just also saw a statement from the U.S. Forest Service today saying that they have not experienced these widespread extreme fire conditions in over 20 years.
Very unusual for July in northern Minnesota. We have spring fires, but not July. The largest, Nick was asked, he said he'll have to get back to us. He's seen a lot of big fires up north, but we don't know yet how this is nowhere near done.
Wow. And what do we know about the groups of those YMCA kids?
The good news there, the governor posted it this afternoon. Both groups of YMCA campers are home now, safe and sound.
Okay, very good. WCCO Susie Jones reporting. Despite our extreme heat and bad air on top of recent heavy rains, some reason for optimism when it comes to climate change today. University of St. Thomas climate scientist Dr. John Abraham says we have reached a tipping point where using clean energy sources like solar and wind power is now seen as a marker of fiscal responsibility. He says we are able to power our homes, cars, and offices more cheaply with clean energy than with fossil fuels.
So if we really want to make a difference, we have to have a sustained approach of reducing our pollution emission. And over time, and this is going to be years and decades, we can bend the curve of climate change.
But right now, Abraham says there is no question the weather and climate conditions are, quote, bonkers. Mike Lindell's gubernatorial campaign has its biggest endorsement yet from President Donald Trump.
WCCO Radio political analyst Blois Olson says Trump endorsing Mike Lindell could spell trouble for the Lisa Damoth campaign.
You know, clearly Lisa Damoth has had the strongest campaign in fundraising. She came very close to winning the endorsement. She has outside money supporting her. So any momentum away from Damoth, it's going to hurt her more right now.
Republican challengers opted to stay in the race after Kendall Qualls won the GOP endorsement back in May. Blois says the Qualls campaign has struggled and Trump's involvement in the race will bring voters to the polls. Mark Fry, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And WCCO News Time is 3:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Going to find some road work in place, traveling north 169. It's 2 lanes are available for you, but it is packed and stacked. It all begins at 101st Avenue. Southbound is single lane, and it slows through the work zone again. That's 169. You have 114th Ave as you make way up toward that Champlain area. Be aware of it. If you're going to be traveling along 35 East southbound, got your slowdowns, typical stuff these days. Make way between Randolph and Shepherd Road in the work zone there. 494, watching slowdowns on the eastbound side from the Bush Lake roads and over 235W. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Gutman Law, wills, trusts, and probate law at gutmanlaw.com. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
It stays hot, it stays humid, and now it gets hazy. Our extreme heat warning's actually been extended through 9 p.m. on Friday now, and we'll have air quality issues as well because of the smoke from the wildfires up north. Mainly clear tonight, down to 74 outside of the haze. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow with a high of 94. Friday, sunny up to 95. Finally, some relief early next week.
Mostly cloudy right now, humid 95 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Every minute here makes you a little smarter there. News Talk 830 WCCO. You're thinking about it. Jason's talking about it. There are no breaks on bold takes here. Buckle up. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, live from Minnesota's biggest microphone, here's Jason DeRusha.
All right, welcome in. It is a hot one out there, and we start with a hot topic in politics as well. It's Jason. I want to know where you're at with the President of the United States endorsing the pillow guy. That's what he called Mike Lindell. I think the Mike Lindell campaign is one that the media has not taken seriously. The mainstream Republicans have not taken him seriously. And now that the President of the United States says pillow guy is my guy, one, how do you not take him seriously? And two, is this going to change how Republicans vote? 651-461-9226. I have two possibilities in my mind. One is that the undecided voters, which the last poll I saw, something like 20% of Republicans are undecided, that they love Donald Trump and they're going to do what he says. One of the responses I got on social media today when I asked about this is that I voted for Donald Trump, not for the Republican Party. And if Donald Trump says, I'm on Team Lindell, then so am I. I think the other possibility is that the Trump endorsement of Lindell splits the crazy vote. I love you guys. I don't mean you. It's like the other people. But it splits the I don't like any elected official, so I'm voting Kendall Qualls. They get some of that crowd. Some of it because Trump said it's okay to vote for Lindell. Some of it goes to Lindell. And Lisa Dameth gets like the mainstream normal Republicans. And maybe that's enough for her to win. So maybe this endorsement is helpful for Lisa Dameth. And then the other side of this is maybe it just doesn't matter because Amy Klobuchar is going to win no matter which of those three come up. I don't know. You're welcome to weigh in on all of those perspectives at 651-461-9226. Texters are saying, my son says, with this endorsement, we can all sleep better tonight. That's the Democrat perspective, I think. I do think that this is more significant than people want to act like it is. Now, Donald Trump's track record of endorsement isn't a flawless track record, but to act like it's not significant at a primary, to me, is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's go to my friend Andy Brem, who writes an opinion column for the Minnesota Star Tribune. He wrote about this kind of a breaking Strip Voices piece this afternoon. Andy's on CCO. Andy, what do you think about this endorsement? I do think it has the potential to be significant to a certain percentage of the primary populace in the Republican Party, don't you?
Well, I do. And first of all, Jason, good to be on with you. I appreciate it. And of course, the president is very popular in the party. He's the leader of the Republican Party, and we've seen him be able to sway primary voters in other states. So it's certainly big news, and hats off to Mike Lindell for getting the endorsement. But I think with all due respect to the president, I don't think he understands this race, and I don't think he understands what having Mike Lindell at the top of the ticket would do for Republicans, which is basically decimate our chances of winning the governor's office, and I think it would hurt us down ballot. So I think President Trump is basically helping secure another DFL trifecta, which nobody wants. So in Republicans I talk to, I haven't talked to anybody that thinks this is a good idea. So does it carry some weight? Sure. But Minnesotans have always been kind of independent, and think for themselves, including Minnesota Republicans. And ultimately, I think we'll go a different way here in August.
I know there is an anti-establishment vibe both on the right and on the left right now. I just really question whether Mike Lindell has a snowball's chance against somebody like Amy Klobuchar, who already has proven that she appeals to a more moderate Republican or a corporate Republican. That sort. She's had success with that electorate group before.
Well, a couple of things. I understand people's frustration. I share it as a conservative myself in the state. But the way to express that frustration, the best way is to win elections and get some power back in state government and be able to change policies, which we've been able to do with the Republican, essentially a tie Republican vote in the state house. So that's really how we do it. I mean, I wouldn't call Mike Lindell an anti-establishment guy. I mean, he's kind of part of the establishment. He's been a leader in the Republican Party for a long time, as is President Trump. But it really comes down, I think, to his fitness. I mean, this is a guy, first of all, that's admittedly broke. I mean, the state of Minnesota is broke too, and we need somebody that can come in and clean things up. Do we really want somebody that is not capable of managing his own financial accounts? And I would agree. I think the polling shows that he has absolutely no chance against Amy Klobuchar. So this would make it a slam dunk for Democrats, and that would be very, very unfortunate for the state.
Andy, is it possible, though, that this is the real Republican Party of 2026, and you're hanging on to sort of the 2018 version or the 2014 version of what the Republican Party in Minnesota was?
Well, I'm an old-fashioned guy, Jason. So maybe
I know you and me both, Andy. I'm worried that, like, when we look at the left and say, well, the mainstream left wants X, Y, and Z, but the voters step up and say, no, we want, closer to socialism. And on the right, when you say, no, like the Pawlenty Republicans, we want business growth and reasonable this and that. And then the electorate says, no, like My Pillow guy sounds pretty good to me. I don't know. I just don't know what the voters want.
Well, I in talking to Republicans, and I talked to quite a few of them, there seems to be a universal desire to win. I mean, we really don't want to live in a state that's controlled by the DFL again. That was not a good experience. Most independent voters I talked to think it was not a good experience. And if we nominate someone like Mike Lindell, who is so unpopular that he'll drag the entire ticket down, we are going to be living in that again. So, we have Lisa Dameth, who I'm supporting. I mean, she is as conservative as anybody else. And so if you're looking for a true conservative candidate, you can vote for her in the primary. I understand that, and I share that. But really, I mean, again, we need to take this frustration and our anger at the way things are going in the state and direct it towards trying to win elections, not nominating protest candidates that make us feel good for a minute. And then November, it's, after Election Day, it's a pretty bad hangover when your candidate gets elected pretty bad.
Andy Breb, thank you so much. You can read more of Andy's thoughts at startribune.com. Let's go to Joel, who is on the CCO Talk and Text line, 651-461-9226. Especially want to hear from Republicans. Does this carry weight? Does this do anything for you? Joel, where are you at on this?
Well, it's a primary, and the Republicans could have made this a moot point had they got their stuff together when they had their caucus up there, but they didn't. And the leaders didn't even like it that they encouraged people like Lisa and everybody else to continue to run.
You think it would have been better, Joel, if Lisa Dameth would have dropped out and just cleared the field more for a Kendall Qualls situation?
Don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
But she did go on the record saying she was going to support the nomination, and she isn't now. Yeah. So she's vacillated a little bit that way.
There are a lot of Republicans. She lost. That's how that goes, yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of Republicans that like what Donald Trump does, but they don't like the Donald Trump personality. And most of us are about over it now. He's the president. He'll be the president, for the next 3 years we're working with. He's going to continue on. But we got to worry about the state of Minnesota that's in a world of hurt. And I think of all the candidates, Lisa's got the most knowledge of what's going on and how to get things done. and she would be the best candidate for us
Yeah.
in Minnesota.
Joel, thank you. Appreciate it. Lots of texts coming in, calls too. Donald Trump endorses my pillow guy, Mike Lindell. Does that, if you're undecided or if you were thinking quals and maybe you've been seeing that he's not raising much money, he just had another misstep the other day with kind of photoshopping somebody out of his parade photo because this guy had a couple DUIs and shouldn't have been driving, like just sort of comedy of errors there on again, a political party that's just struggled to put forward normal candidates. And now it's my pillow time. Republicans, do you want to win or do you want to make a point? 651-461-9226. Drive time back in just a minute.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dave Lee for Aquarius, your independent authorized Connecticut dealer. Are you ready for the worry-free water your family deserves? This summer, trade in your old water softener and trade up to a Connecticut system. Say goodbye to hard water, rust stains, and contaminants. And hello to worry-free water with an additional $500 off on top of some great summer sale pricing. Schedule your free water test today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
Fundamentally, a non-traditional approach to talking about, learning about, and exploring the day's news.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Kim on Facebook is not swayed by President Donald Trump endorsing Mike Lindell, who he called the pillow guy. Do you think Lindell is like, it's my pillow guy, my man? Like, get the branding right. Like, what are we doing here? Kim Marie says, first, a black woman for governor, Lisa. Yes. It is amazing to me, and I shouldn't say it's amazing to me, but the Republican Party in the state of Minnesota could mess up a one-car parade. You have got Lisa Damon, who has been elected over and over, first black woman as the Speaker of the House for the Republican Party. She is like a no-brainer, right? And not only do they not endorse her, then the president comes and says, no, like, I'm not going to endorse the guy the party endorsed. I'm going to endorse this other dude. Sorry, Lisa. And then Lisa Damon, within the last half hour, has to write this absolutely embarrassing statement where she says, President Trump has put America first, and as governor, I will put America first. I'm like, if I were Lisa Damon, I would be throwing up in my mouth just aggressively. This dude didn't ask me to the prom, and I still have to say what a handsome devil is. Just the worst. The absolute worst. Texters at 651-461-9226. Rick from Cottage Grove, an outsider like Jesse Ventura won, so why can't an outsider like Lindell win? But it's still too early for me to decide. I do think Mike Lindell can win. And I do think Donald Trump endorsing him makes it much more likely that he will win. Now, the Republican Party of Minnesota has come out today and said, I mean, this is a rebuke. This is what the Republican Party chairman, Alex Plekash, said today, and basically just talked about Lindell as an absolute failure. He says, we were surprised by President Trump's endorsement. We strongly support the president and his agenda. When the going got tough under Tim Walz, Mike Lindell left Minnesota for Texas. Now he wants Minnesota Republicans to overlook his serious financial baggage, public records showing tens of thousands of dollars in delinquent property taxes, significant electability concerns, and unanswered questions surrounding his running mate. Other Republican candidates have spent years strengthening our party, supporting candidates, raising resources. You're like, oh, man. Oh, Republicans. This state hands you, the Democrats hand you fraud, tight budgets after an $18 billion surplus. And you're like, you know what'd be good? Mike Lindell. If you are an Andy Brem style Republican who called us last segment, aren't you looking at your party like, I don't know, man, like I got to move to Florida not to escape Minnesota taxes. I got to move to Florida to find like some Republicans that I could actually vote for. Because what is happening here? I don't know. Just amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. Let's go to Kevin, 651-461-9226. Kevin's in Anoka. Kevin, go ahead. What do you make of all this?
So my choice is A, to vote for the woman who said that when ICE comes up to her, she should just show her papers and prove she's an American. Or B, the guy who said he's going to start off his governorship by apologizing to police and tell them they're not being supported enough. I will literally vote for somebody with a traumatic brain injury in a wheelchair before I vote for the guy who licks the boots of police or the woman who thinks that I should walk around and show my papers anytime a federal agent makes me.
It's so I'm taking this as an unlikely participation in the Republican primary for you, Kevin.
Unless Lindell's in it.
And then you're in.
And not to mention the other guy that's in the party has spent years helping medical insurance companies earn billions of dollars while they give the absolute minimum their insurance requires for people's health care.
So you're for who? You're for Lindell, Kevin, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. And
the other two idiots.
Yeah. Do you think he has a chance of being elected in the general election, though?
Honestly, I don't know, but I know if he's not on the ballot as governor, I'll stay home and watch TV.
Kevin, thank you. Kevin from Anoka. I mean, isn't it interesting how, like, you're opposed to people making money for insurance companies unless, like, it's your guy who's making money? I don't know. It's all sort of nonsense to me. Phil in Woodbury. Phil, thanks for listening. What do you think, buddy? Who do you think it's going to... Does the Trump endorsement do anything for you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, here's the deal. I want to say, Jay, I haven't called in a while. How you doing, by the way?
It's good to hear your voice. I'm doing well.
Thank you, sir. I'm still alive.
Good.
But I want to say, have you ever bought a Mike Lindell pillow?
I have. It's a pretty nice pillow, I got to be honest.
Well, we got two of them, and they didn't last very long, so I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah.
So Lindell, well, we'll see how he turns out if he gets in.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he'll
That's all
last.
I'm saying.
He'll last as long as your pillows did, though. You never know.
Right.
That's
Hey, I got a joke. I got a quick joke for you.
All right, hit it.
Why didn't the elephant Why didn't the elephant ride the train?
Why didn't the elephant ride the train?
Because they couldn't pack his trunk.
Couldn't pack his trunk. Very nice. Very nice. Phil of Woodbury, everybody. Tip your waitress. Margot in Big Lake. Margot, do you want to start with a joke, or do you have a take on Donald Trump endorsing Mike Lindell?
Well, I don't have a joke. But let me just say, I really was leaning towards Lisa. I really like her. I think that somebody out of the Democratic Party needs to get out of here. But I also like, Mike in a way, because he just went through a lawsuit, and the settlement was, against the Dominion for that.
Right, for
polling.
the election stuff, right?
Yeah, and they both settled. They're both paying for their attorneys and their shit. So
I can't say that. The stuff, you got to say stuff. There goes Margot. It's too bad. Started on a nice direction. So here's the challenge with Mike Lindell, and there are going to be voters who are attracted to the fact that he fought the system, that he said the election is rigged. Tomorrow, Donald Trump is probably going to come out and say the election was rigged, and here's his evidence in this primetime speech. And the problem that I have with all of this is that this has nothing to do with Minnesota. This has nothing to do with our problems. This has nothing to do with our solutions. This has nothing to do with making our state strong. And so what are we doing? Why are we wasting our time with this sort of rah-rah national conspiracy theory, elections are rigged, blah, 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 blah? Would I like to watch a debate between Mike Lindell and Amy Klobuchar? Yes. I do think if I'm Michelle Tafoya, I'm the biggest loser of this endorsement, because if Mike Lindell becomes the nominee, that makes it that much harder for Michelle Tafoya to get elected as a Republican senator. And I do think Michelle Tafoya has a chance. It's hard as a Republican to win statewide in this state. It's been a long time. But Michelle Tafoya, I believe, gives a decent chance for a Republican win there. But if you got Lindell and Tafoya campaigning together, picture the campaigning at the state fair. Lindell and Tafoya, or Lisa Damath and Tafoya, Kendall Qualls and Tafoya. I think Qualls has a lot of problems, too. It's sort of amateur hour at that campaign right now, and there's not much time if you're a Republican for that. Let's break in a minute. Spontaneous trips. Oh, this is sort of for the parents in the crowd, we have a dream scenario. Don't you ever wish you could just have a buddy call you up and say hey, let's go here and let's do it tomorrow? Would you do it? And where would you want to go? Spontaneous trip. Have you ever done it? I'd love to hear your stories at 651-461-9226. Tracy Perlman's done it. She joins us to talk about it in just a minute here on Drive Time.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
How about the housing market? Ugh. It's been awful in Minnesota and all around the world. It's Jason here for my friend Chris Lindell. You know Chris, the arms wide out real estate guy. You see him on the billboards. You see him on buses and on light rail cars. And I've known Chris for a long time. Great guy, innovative, creative. And he was way out in front when he and I were talking, and he's like, Jason, this real estate market, people are waiting for it to turn around, but it's not going to turn around. Not in the short term, not this year. And he has been right. If you are looking to sell your house, the guaranteed cash offer and the big red check has been a no-brainer for people who need money fast, because he can get you to closing in 2 days. You don't have to deal with the headaches. You don't have to pay commissions. You're just, boom, you're done. So good if you inherit a house or you have a divorce situation or a job change. It's amazing. But more Minnesotans are signing up for that big red check just because the headache of being on the open market is enormous. Unpredictable buyers, unpredictable interest rates. Offload the stress, offload the unpredictability and onload the guaranteed cash offer and the big red check. You can get all the information and a free smart seller guide. Do it at chrislindahl.com.
Every day, your ears put up with a lot. Give them something they'll actually enjoy. News that matters. Conversations worth hearing. News Talk 830 WCCO. Your ears deserve better.
When are you moving? Are you dreading your neighbors asking you that when they see a for sale sign in your yard? It's Vanita. Call my friends from the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. The Good Neighbor agent can help you sell your home for full market value. John's vast network and database of buyers helps him sell houses quickly and for top dollar. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com. Terms and conditions may apply.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623.
Hey, Tracy, you hearing us okay?
Yep, I can hear you guys.
800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
Let's make this summer your best summer ever. Jason here for Luther Kia of Bloomington, and Luther Kia Bloomington wants to upgrade your ride. Outstanding prices. $399 a month. Sign and drive lease offers on Seltos, Sportage, Nero, and K5. Get out of here. Plus $750 owner loyalty cash on the stunning Kia Telluride and the Telluride Hybrid. Best cars for the money on the market. Check out their brand new facility, now open at 35W and 494. Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow as you travel along 35W southbound 106th Street, heading down to Highway 13. 35E southbound, that's slow as you come down from Victoria Street. If you're up on the north side of the metro, get ready for some slowdowns there. 610 eastbound 169 as you head over to Noble Parkway, and 169 northbound is midway toward 109th and the work zone there. Get ready for the slowdowns as you come up past 610 itself. Attention motorists, Laguna, Minnesota wants you to slow down when driving in construction zones. You're now entering their work zone where they are building a better Minnesota for you. So please slow down when you see the orange cones and yellow vests and save lives. Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan barely has to light up the barbecue smoker because it is that hot outside. Here is Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Our heat wave rolls on. In fact, the extreme heat warning has been extended till 9 p.m. on Friday now. Mainly clear tonight outside of the wildfire smoke, 74 the overnight low. Mostly sunny the next couple of days, 94 tomorrow, 95 Friday. Should stay in the 90s this weekend, finally cooling down early next week.
Right now, it is hot out there. Extreme heat warning in effect. Downtown Minneapolis, it is 94 degrees. Oh, my. The air quality, it's not terrible yet. The index is 60, which is moderate right now on CCO.
Your daily detour into sharper conversation. Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All the single ladies
Tracy Perlman joins us via video link up, streaming on the WCCO Radio YouTube account, also on my X at DeRusha J, and on Facebook at WCCO Radio. Tracy, you lived out one of like my longtime dreams, the idea of just that spontaneous boom. You get asked to go on a trip and off you go. What happened?
I went to the wonderful, cool town of Seattle, Washington. The Minnesota Aurora were in the playoffs for their league. They were undefeated all season long. We were really excited and hopeful they were going to make it to the finals. They've been in the playoffs all 5 years of their season. And Friday afternoon, I decided to book a ticket and go see their game in Seattle. So I did that. I'm surprised you haven't booked a last minute trip, Jason.
You know, it's one of those things that we've talked about doing. And I think, you know, when you have kids, it's impossible. And I had a good friend who used to call me up and be like, hey, we're taking, you know, we're going to take a private jet and go to wherever. And I was always like, you know, like I have to anchor the news. Like I have a job. I can't just tomorrow drop everything and go. Like,
but for a private jet, maybe.
I mean, the Channel 4 morning news was perhaps unreasonably important for me. You know,
I flew Sun Country.
Well, that's the PJ of the MSP
of the common folk.
Of the common folk.
They did, to their credit, as they've done charter flights for other teams in town when they've made it to the playoffs. They did not do a charter flight, but they did offer discounted ticket prices.
Oh,
so I booked on that, which contributed to why I decided to make such a last minute call. But Seattle was not on my list of cities I thought I would have jetted off to for, 12 hours, 14 hours. So the original plan was I left at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. Game was at 7:30. I was supposed to fly home at midnight, take the red eye. Little complication at the airport. We'll move on from that. But I came back. It was just a one-day trip. So, but it was nice. Sunday was at the Twins game with my family. Ran the bases with my friends and their kids. So nice little quick trip. I feel like Chicago would be a nice place to do a quick day trip.
Easy, yeah.
Fly in, fly out, take the train. You don't need to worry about transportation. You don't need to worry about a hotel. You're in, you're out. You can go see a show, get on a plane.
Dan, have you ever done like a day trip like that?
I have done a day trip. It wasn't spontaneous. It was planned, but I did do a day trip over to Milwaukee. Flew over to Milwaukee, which seems semi-ridiculous, but to see a Twins game. There was a Twins-Brewers game, and I had some friends from college that lived in Milwaukee and wanted to go see it, so took a quick flight over there. One of them picked me up. We drove to the ballpark, went to the game. The other one picked me up after the game and drove me back to the airport, and away I went. The only bummer of that is they cut Brendan Harris after that game, and he walks up to the same gate that I'm at to fly back to Minneapolis to get his stuff.
Oh, no.
And sees the handful of us all dressed up in Twins gear and just sort of puts his head down and goes and walks to a different corner of the airport.
He's like, we were at the game too.
Sorry.
I've done a lot of like day trips in the car, like Duluth, North Shore, Red Wing, but I haven't gone like Kansas City on a day trip down and back. That might be a little long for a drive, but how long is the drive to Milwaukee?
Not bad. It's like
4 or 5 hours?
5
4
hours, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like 4.5 to Madison and another hour and a half to Milwaukee. So
You could there and back it.
you could.
I do
But
love
the plane flights were cheap enough where it just made more sense.
Sure. And it's the same time at that point.
I love the idea of a spontaneous trip. I think the challenge is like most people have stuff. Like it's hard to, like for me, if I got invited, well, like I suppose my trip to Washington, D.C. was it wasn't exactly spontaneous. I had like a couple days notice on that, but that was more like a work trip, right? If I was going to take a spontaneous trip for fun, I think my wife would be like, huh? Pardon? She would be ticked.
I feel like Alyssa's a yes girl. I feel like she would say, yeah, let's go. Sure.
Oh, sure. She would say, let's go. She wouldn't say, you can go.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Thank you for clarifying.
If it was a spontaneous trip, I do think like from here, for me, a fun like in and out. So I've always, when you cover restaurants, you hear from chefs who talk about people who literally fly in to just go to a restaurant. I feel like that would be like ultimate, like how cool would that be? Like if you just wanted to check a place out just to go, like in and out, same day, not even stay in a hotel or whatever, that would be
Like, make a
cool.
fun reservation. It times right.
Yeah.
It's an expensive dinner, but you know what? If you can find the ticket for the right price.
I suppose, right? Like, aren't you tempted? Like, I get the Thrifty Traveler emails, and often those are sort of like, oh, that'd be a pretty good deal. Like, I could jump on that. Or Jonathan says Sun Country has some decent prices right now. Like, do you look at those emails and think like, oh, could I pop out of here and go somewhere?
Sometimes the problem I have is I don't mind traveling by myself. I don't want to take every trip
Alone.
by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's finding who am I going to go with, and do we travel the same way? I will plan about 50% of my trip. I just want to know I have somewhere to sleep, and then like a couple activities. I don't like to overbook a trip. Some people like to know every meal, every activity.
Yeah.
I don't like to travel like
Not
that.
fun. No.
Not for me. That's not my jam.
A texter says Washington, D.C. would be a great day trip. Like, and there are so many flights. Like, you could easily fly out there early in the morning.
Yeah.
Get there at 10:30, hit a couple museums, have dinner, pop on a plane there's like a 8:30 flight back here, I think.
Yeah, even if there's one a little later, I think the public transportation makes a huge difference and is what makes that possible.
Yeah.
You can take the train right into the center of the city and you're good to go.
Now, side note, you went for the Minnesota Aurora, which I asked the CEO at the start of the season. I said, could you guys lose a regular season match so you don't get to the playoffs and then lose then? And she was like, well, we'd rather win all our games. I'm like, well, we've tried that.
Fair.
It's not going great. Like, how about an early season loss for these ladies instead of the playoff kind of choke?
I just, we came in second place on that game.
Oh, stop it. No.
As a community owner of the team, Jason.
Yeah.
I do legitimately get very stressed because they have won so many games that I'm like, what's going to happen? Like, it's stressful.
They gotta lose earlier. That's I'm not a
don't
sport.
want them to lose at all.
Yeah. I
want them to win for sure when it counts.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to have a couple games, at least one or two in the postseason.
That'd be nice. All right, we're gonna break in a minute. The nostalgic frenzy over the Esprit sweatshirts at Costco. What clothing from your youth do you wish they would bring back? 651-461-9226. We'll talk about that with Tracy in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's talk about dinner. Let's talk about Minnesota farmers. Let's talk about Minnesota pork. It's Jason here. You know that I love me some Minnesota pork. In fact, I believe we're having pork tonight. Shocker. This weekend, we're over at the St. Paul Farmers Market, and there are a bunch of pig farmers at the market with all sorts of cuts. And that's one of the challenges I have for you from our 3,000 pig farmers all over Minnesota. I want you to experiment maybe with ground pork. I think ground pork is the most underrated and underutilized part of the pig. And it's so affordable, so flavorful, so packed with protein. Ground pork is there. Solves a lot of problems, frankly. And maybe you need some inspiration. Now, the simple thing to do is take ground beef, ground pork, go half and half, and make some patties. Easy, easy, easy. But if you go to tastewhatporkcando.com, You can search recipes and filter them by cut. And so when you go through, you just click ground pork and let's see what they have. I'm doing it live. We got meatballs. We got pork taquitos with ground pork. Oh, the spring roll noodle bowl would be perfect. A nice cold salad with these hot days. How about lemongrass lettuce wraps? So many great ideas at tastewhatporkcando.com. Get to that grocery store or butcher shop. Let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Colonial furniture from the 17th century can be found in museums across our great country.
Those craftsmen knew their stuff.
Our colonial collection brings the warmth, character, and enduring colonial quality.
Built from solid hardwood, this bedroom collection honors the past while blending beautifully with modern sensibilities.
Available in multiple sizes with all the storage pieces your bedroom might need, including velvet-lined hidden storage compartments. We love historic cherry, but the set is also available in solid oak, maple, and quarter sawn oak at Barufka's. A queen low footboard bed is Craftsman Direct priced from $29.45 or $123 a month for 24 months.
Museum quality for mummies and everyone.
Oh, Jim. Barufka's. No gimmicks, haggling, or hard to understand pricing in Woodbury and Burnsville.
Decidedly American.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
And it is brought to you by Amber Scholl & Associates, American Family Insurance. Got your slowdowns in place, 694 eastbound. You move between, basically 35E over to Highway 36. You also got some slowing on 694 eastbound as you move past Xerxes, heading over toward Highway 65. South 169 is jamming up 494 to Pioneer Trail. Protect what matters most with Amber Scholl & Associates with American Family Insurance. From your home to your car to your dreams, Amber Scholl and their team are here to help you every step of the way. Call Amber Scholl today at 651-738-4811 to learn more. Visit amfam.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast is for the heat. We're in the middle of an extreme heat warning. It has been extended, and that warning is going through 9 p.m. on Friday. Air quality alert through 11 on Friday. Tonight, mainly clear, low of 78, which is very warm. Tomorrow, 94, sunny. Friday, 95, sunny. We're dry into the weekend, and the highs stay in the 90s. Cool down coming next week. Right now, it's 95 on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
I think that's a recipe for chaos.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
World Cup fans, Argentina and England tied at 1 goal apiece. 90 minutes in, Messi gets the assist, his 11th assist in FIFA World Cup history. 9 minutes of this is the extra time. And then if it's still tied up, then they go on to like super duper bonus extra time.
This is stoppage time.
This is stoppage.
This is stoppage time. And then if they don't score, then they go to extra time after the stoppage.
Then it's 2 15-minute periods. I don't know.
Correct.
Correct. Baby quarters. But I love stoppage time because it's kind of like whenever the refs say you're done playing, you'll be done playing. They kind of like feel the vibes.
I prefer a running clock. I got to be honest. And that's because as a young teenager, I ran the clock for basketball leagues. And the running clock was more effective for allowing me to like do my history homework and the other things I was trying to do while I was working, you know?
Fair.
Yeah, it's all how does this help me,
Yeah.
Jason DeRusha? That is the question.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Millennials went crazy this weekend because Costco brought back the Esprit sweatshirt. And this is like I feel like this is more Gen X than maybe it's elder millennial, right?
I don't know. I feel like I was born in 84, so I'm like right on the cusp of a millennial and Gen X. And this is like I'm just a little too young for this one. I do think it's a little more Gen X.
This was my generation. I remember like this is what the girls were wearing. Like, and my family couldn't afford this sort of stuff. Now at Costco, it's currently like $18.
What? And it's probably nice quality because Costco has nice stuff.
What would you want to bring back from like your teenage years?
Do you get like 15 of them at Costco? Is that how that works? It's just in a big bundle?
You get all of them. Every color in a pack.
The clothing, you just buy one. It's that, you know, yeah.
I want the 90s pullover starter jacket.
Oh, well, didn't that sort of Target has brought back like the champion vibe, but yeah the starter jacket.
This is I want with the front pocket and the quarter zip. I remember begging my parents and grandparents for a starter jacket. Then, because my friends were all crazy, you were not allowed to, these are super expensive jackets, not allowed to have a team that anybody else had.
Tracy, can I interrupt you? I do want to interrupt. I don't want to interrupt you, but
I understand.
There has been a score change.
Oh.
Argentina has scored at the 90+2 minute mark. So with about 5 minutes to go, Argentina is up 2-1. So there you go. It was not Messi. It was Lautaro Martinez who scored. So there you go. So you're up to date. I will tell you, driving into downtown Minneapolis around 2:00, there was a massive traffic jam because people were driving downtown to try to go to Brits and the local and where they've been watching all of these matches.
It is fun, don't you think? Like the community that comes around
Super
sports.
fun. Super fun. Now, I don't think this says anything about the popularity of soccer or the or any of that stuff. I just think the World Cup is a singular, fun, amazing international moment.
It's to me, because I'm not a huge soccer fan, it's the same excitement as watching the high school hockey tournaments or basketball tournaments. I'm going to pick a team for whatever preconceived notion I have, and I'm all in for that duration of that game.
I thought for sure you were going to say Olympics, just in terms of the international play.
Also the Olympics.
It's the same thing. Nobody cares about the Olympics. Nobody cares about the Olympic sports. They want
I'm
the
not
Olympics.
here to judge the nerdy kids.
I will judge the nerdy kids. I was one of them.
Yeah.
Like, we were a bunch of weirdos, you know?
I know. But how do they know how to spell those words? They're so smart.
Homeschooling.
Yeah.
Oh.
So when you have
They
a
just
parent,
sit there and read the dictionary.
Public school didn't do well. for me.
No. When you have a parent dedicated to making you the weirdest kid in your community, one of the avenues to make you there are only a couple of paths to follow. You're going to be super God, super religious. You're going to be very anti-vax, like that's very popular in the homeschool community, or you're going to be an amazing speller. Like it's going to be one of those lanes of weirdness, and that's sort of what it is.
No, I feel like of
All
those
the
three,
homeschoolers, you can send your complaints to Dan Cook at Odyssey.com.
I do feel like out of those three scenarios, the kids who can spell really well are also probably going to be the super rich kids.
Maybe.
They're very successful.
Is this a useful
engineers.
skill? A useful skill? Knowing how to spell? When have you needed to know how to spell?
It's not the knowing how to spell. It's how you learn to know that stuff.
It's the putting together the history of it and
Listen to
the
these
word
nerds
formations.
just ruining my bit. It's like
Sorry.
No,
No,
actually,
don't be
Jason,
sorry.
No,
Ruin
it's
the bit.
really, it's really.
I hate to offend the people.
No, it's all. I love to offend the people.
I know.
Yeah, it's fun. It's low stakes issues, you know.
It is.
Here's what people want brought back.
Yeah.
Tube tops.
No.
I feel like tube tops have never gone away.
No. They're so
Zubas pants. A couple texters want the Zubas.
I will back you up on the Zubas. They are very comfy. Minnesota.
They are so comfy.
And the picture of Tom Kelly throwing batting practice while wearing
With his big
Zubas
cigar.
is just legendary. Yes.
Yeah.
Someone says tree-torn sneakers were a must-have. What about Jabot? Remember the Jabot pants?
No, I'm not Gen X.
Yeah. So she's so young. So proud.
Blue sparkly eyeshadow and pleather pants were what we wore in high school.
Tracy, good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Continental Diamond time check. It is 3:58. Time to get to continentaldiamond.com.
You know that feeling when your body is tired, but your brain just won't shut off? We've all been there. Jordana here. That's where CBN comes in. CBN, short for cannabinol, is a naturally occurring hemp cannabinoid known for its relaxing, sleepy effects. Think of it like the lights dimming signal for your brain. While CBD helps you stay calm, CBN helps your body know it's time to rest. That's why we call it CB Night Night. Mini Leaf Night and Night Plus Sleep Gummies combine CBN, CBD, and CBG to help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, and then wake up feeling refreshed. Go to minileaf.com, MINNELEAF.com, minileaf.com, the home of Minnesota's best legal products. And tell them Jordana sent you.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Minnesota's source for news, weather, traffic, talk, and Twins baseball. News Talk 830 WCCO, KMNB HD2, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. carried out rare daytime strikes today against Iran's coastal defense systems as the battle over control of the Strait of Hormuz takes a new turn. Iran also beginning to fire back at U.S. assets in the region. ABC's Christian Cordero has more.
This video circulating online is from the southern port of Chabahar. Another video posted online shows Iran's retaliation in the escalating attacks, hitting a building in Kuwait that Iran's regime says stored U.S. weapons. Gulf allies, including Bahrain and Jordan, say their air defense systems have intercepted incoming missiles.
Secretary Pete Hegseth announcing troops will be tested annually for testosterone levels.
Under the new policy, service members aged 30 and older will receive annual testosterone screenings as part of their routine health assessments. And those diagnosed with a testosterone deficiency will have the option to undergo testosterone replacement therapy. Low testosterone levels have long been a concern in the military, though doctors have raised concerns that the online popularity of the therapy could lead to overprescribing. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
President Trump has overturned the pause on vehicle stops by federal agents during immigration operations. That directive issued yesterday by HHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen following officer-involved shootings in Maine and Texas. In Maine, the state attorney general's office says it continues to investigate the fatal shooting of a Colombian immigrant by federal law enforcement. ABC's Victor Oquendo says the family is demanding a transparent investigation.
Outrage grows over a deadly shooting in Biddeford, Maine, where 25-year-old Johann Sebastian Guerrero was shot and killed, even though he was not the intended target of immigration officers. According to representation for the family, Guerrero had a social security number, as well as work authorization in the United States. DHS says Guerrero entered the country illegally in September 2023, but obtained a work permit in 2025.
You're listening to ABC News.
If you haven't...
Minnesota's trusted voice, every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, 95 degrees under an extreme heat warning. I'm Laura Oakes. It's 4:02. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency issuing an updated air quality alert within the past hour, showing conditions worsening in the Twin Cities. Several counties in the metro are now in the very unhealthy category until late Friday morning. And the region showing hazardous air quality has been expanded to include areas just north of the Twin Cities metro and farther into north central Minnesota. Forecasters also saying the heat will exacerbate health impacts during the poor air quality and that the alert may need to be extended for parts of the state beyond Friday morning. Firefighters in northern Minnesota facing some difficult obstacles. In addition to the high winds and heat, the smoke is preventing some aircraft from dropping water on the flames. Superior National Forest Fire Management Officer Nick Petrak says they're grateful to local residents who have been asked to be ready to evacuate. He says when they won't leave, it can make matters worse for firefighters.
That puts a lot of stress on our firefighters, knowing that someone may not have left. That's not something we take very easily. We understand the choice, but cooperating with the agency and the local sheriff, we're giving you scientific information to the best of our knowledge.
Hundreds of people have been evacuated, some self-evacuating from the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness.
Dalton and Quinn Lammers are grateful to be safe and sound after a harrowing return from the Boundary Waters. Quinn says it didn't take long to make the decision to get out.
Just with how truly awful the wind was, it wouldn't have taken very long, uncontrolled, to reach our location.
They had to portage back with dozens of others at times waiting in line. Dalton says it was all very strange.
Usually the problem is packing to make sure that you don't get too cold. But this year, the 3 days we were there, I feel like 93 was the lowest temp.
Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Police in Farmington looking for the driver in a hit-and-run accident that left a 13-year-old dead on Tuesday night. 2 boys were crossing Highway 50 when a vehicle hit one of them. And the lobbying is growing more intense in Washington as Minnesota producers are less than 4 months away from a federally mandated cut to the amount of THC allowed in hemp-derived beverages and edibles.
Bob Galligan with the Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild has had previous conversations with Senators Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith and Congresswoman Angie Craig and hopes to further those discussions soon.
We do know that folks in Washington are hearing from us and they are aware of our concerns. You know, there are still discussions. We're awaiting hopefully some language that we've been waiting for now for a month or so, but it does sound like it's poised to be introduced and ready to discuss hopefully in the next week or two.
If the ban does go into effect, it will mean the loss of thousands of jobs and closure of some breweries.
The market in Minnesota is about equivalent to winter sports recreation in Minnesota,
which is hundreds of millions of dollars. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And WCCO News Time is 4:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
And you can find your slowdowns in place as you travel 694 eastbound, making the run from basically the area of Xerxes, heading out towards Highway 65. Traveling along Highway 36 westbound, got some slowdowns there. Again, this is the westbound route is moved between Hamlin and 35W. South 35W slows through Minneapolis as you head toward Lake Street. South 169 is jammed up 494 as you head down to Old Shakopee Road. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by the Canopy Group. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
It stays hot, it stays humid, and now it gets hazy. Our extreme heat warning's actually been extended through 9 p.m. on Friday now, and we'll have air quality issues as well because of the smoke from the wildfires up north. Mainly clear tonight, down to 74 outside of the haze. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow with a high of 94. Friday, sunny up to 95. Finally, some relief early next week.
Mostly cloudy right now, 95 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Everything you need to know, all in one place. News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, it's over for England. I got to tell you, July, a rough month for the Brits, right? They just take it on the chin. 1776 wasn't so great. 2026, not great either. As Argentina moves on to face Spain in the World Cup final. Argentina coming from behind. Dan, you have always said about Argentina.
Whatever you do, don't count out the Argentinians.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really a good policy in life, not just the World Cup.
I didn't know you had strong feelings about Argentina.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What is
big Argentina backer?
What is your favorite aspect of Argentina?
Their resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they're down 1-0 in this game and came back and win.
Is this strictly a football take
no,
on your part,
back,
or is it
go back to the
people,
the Grenada Islands conflict when we were young, and
right,
the resiliency of the Argentinians there. You know, they had that small problem with taking care of a few of the Nazis after the Second World
War.
Not
great,
not
their
not
greatest,
a good look.
Right,
not a good look. But they bounced back nicely.
I don't know a ton about Argentina. I know this is going to surprise you. It's going to surprise a lot of us. Do you know the capital of Argentina?
Yeah, it's in Argentina.
I was expecting your guess to be Argentina City. And so you have a shot. If you don't know, you have a shot with Argentina City. I'm
going to bet against Argentina City.
It is not Argentina City.
Nice.
It is Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires. Who would you say is the most famous person from Argentina?
Oh, it's Lionel Messi. I don't think it's even close.
Well, what about Che Guevara? What about Eva Perón? Don't Cry for Me, Argentina? Is there a song about Lionel Messi?
I'm sure there is.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Pope Francis?
Yeah.
Argentinian.
He was Argentinian for sure.
Yeah, it's probably Messi.
It's Messi.
Now, at one point you had one of our favorite little, like, back when we were doing the D-Rush Hour news headline.
Oh, you want the goal thing?
There's a great Spanish and part of the magic, like if you're going to watch the World Cup final on Sunday and it's going to be Spain and Argentina, you should not be listening to American announcers. You should be listening to the Spanish language. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, I'm not going to understand what's going on. What I would say is you're probably not going to understand what the English announcers are talking to. So why wouldn't you want to listen to this?
Assistència de Xavi, més capreta per Messi, 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 immens Messi, encara 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 Messi, gol, 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 gol.
It brings so much joy.
They were playing back one of the games the U.S. won. Might have been their first knockout game. Was the Tillman kid scores a goal. And the Spanish call of that goal was vastly superior to the English call of it. It was just fantastic. I don't have it pulled, but it was wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is it's all about vibes if you're new to soccer, right?
Yeah.
So enjoy. Now, do you think, like, if we played like a Paul Allen touchdown call in Spain or Argentina, would they be like, get a load of this guy?
Yeah.
It's sort of the same thing,
he's
right?
He's absolutely gone viral on social media, and that's internationally for sure. Absolutely, they would. What I wonder about this final now.
Mm-hmm.
You know who
England goes down to Argentina,
right? So now you have Argentina and Spain in the final.
Mm-hmm.
You know who colonized Argentina back in the day? Is there still a little conflict there? We're gonna have a little bit of.
Was it the New York Times today had some story about like the long-standing beef with England and Argentina, and like everybody hates England, right?
I mean, the Falklands, right? I mean, that goes back to that.
Yes. But like England is probably, I mean, today who's more hated? America, maybe internationally, you think?
Maybe.
Argentina.
I mean, nobody really seems to like Russia internationally at this point. So.
Yeah, true. There's like a live blog of this at the New York Times. The tears are falling down Lionel Messi's face. There are English tears, too, but tears of a different kind.
Oh.
Max Matthews filing that dispatch.
I mean,
good job, buddy.
Really?
Like,
Messi's really, I mean, they just won the whole stinking thing last time
so
around.
emotional. This is your country.
I know, but he just won the whole thing the last time the World Cup was played. I mean, getting to the final again, is that emotional?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think so. I think so.
I do. You look at the hangdog looks on these English fans right now. It's,
Oh,
you do sort of hurt
I
for
saw
them.
some video this last weekend that was going viral from some young English, young woman, a fan who was just going on and on about how, like, we had your back from the beginning. These boys, we have your back. And I'm thinking, I'm like, sports is just amazing. It's amazing. And it's so ridiculous because here is some 24-year-old woman who has flown from England, and she could have used that money on orthodontia, but instead she flew to America to watch the World Cup, and she had the backs of all those boys.
Why you got to just cheap shot the English out of nowhere like that? They just had their hearts ripped out of their chest, and here you got to come along and kick them right in the teeth.
Yeah, I can't help it. Let's break.
Yes. Let's.
On that. Is it even a fair shot? Like, do the English still have bad teeth?
Yes. Yeah, no, it's totally fair.
Can I not make fun of the Brits now? Is that like I was told last week?
I think if you're
that,
going to
like,
make fun of the Brits, July is the time to do it.
It's
so
America. It's
yeah.
America month. All right, we're going to break. In a minute, Jason goes to Washington. I was in Washington, D.C. the last couple of days lobbying Congress, which was as weird as it sounds. What was it like? Who did I meet with? What is that entire experience about? We'll talk about it when we come back. Drive Time rolling on a Wednesday.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
All right, so classic DeRusha, right? I'm gone for 2 days. And then on Saturday, I'm hopping on a plane for a week's vacation in Mexico City. It's Jason, and in anticipation of my trip, I was going through all of these clothes that I just picked out at J.H. & Sons over at the Galleria. And we talk about J.H. & Sons all the time as being your headquarters for weddings, special occasions, suits, tuxedos, back to work. They got you covered. But I wanted sort of a capsule wardrobe for Mexico City. Mexico City's in the mountains. It's not going to be 100 degrees there. It's going to be in the 70s. So I wanted clothes that I could wear walking around the city, going to museums, going to the sites during the day, but then could transition into a nice restaurant for dinner. J.H. & Sons helped me pick out 4 shirts, 1 jacket, 1 pair of pants, and a pair of shoes. And I'm ready to rock. It's awesome. They can do it for you too. Personal service. That is the difference at J.H. & Sons. Yeah, the clothing through the roof. But you're going to love the team that Jeff Halberstadt has put together at the Galleria. The website is jhnsons.com. Sign up for their VIP email list. But better yet, get out to that store. Plenty of parking at the Galleria in Edina. Visit my guys at J.H. & Sons.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Sky Rizzy, risankizumab Rizza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin, thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Where curiosity hits the gas. Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I could dance, I could dance, I could dance. Watch me dance, dance the night away. My heart could be burning, but you won't see it on my face. Watch me dance, dance the night away. I'll still keep the party running.
Never in my life would I have expected that I would be going to Washington, D.C. to lobby Congress. I've spent my career as a journalist. It's just in the last 4 years that I've had the opportunity to express my opinion talking to you guys. It was part of the fun of the job of being a journalist. I didn't have to figure out what my opinion was going to be. So last week when the Minnesota Broadcasters Association said, Jason, would you come with us to meet with Congress people? My first instinct was like, can I? I don't know. I don't know. It feels weird. The mission was to talk about AM radio. There's a bill that has been passed through committees, both in the House and the Senate, that would keep AM radio in every vehicle. And this has become very urgent because some of the electric vehicle manufacturers have been taking AM radio out. In fact, one manufacturer took FM out as well. And I don't think it's right that automakers and tech companies should be able to decide what choices you have when it comes to free over-the-air broadcasting that should be in every dashboard of every car. There are safety arguments that we made because if you live in greater Minnesota and you're on a tractor and there's weather coming in, are you sure you're going to have reliable streaming coverage? If the power goes out, if it takes out internet service, if it knocks out a cell tower, what we do know is AM radio has been there and it'll be there. So for me, it's safety, and it's not just weather. Although you think of the wildfires going on in the BWCA, when people are evacuating, what are they in? They're in their car. And this plays out all around the country, and you don't have full coverage of FM. And either way, I don't know that FM is all that safe either from automakers that are trying to figure out ways to make you pay a subscription fee to have access to radio or streaming or whatever. They want to control that. I want you to have the choice. So the Broadcast Association set up meetings with all of our legislators. Every legislator in Minnesota is on board. They all agree. And they have all signed on as co-sponsors, which is part of why I said yes, Dan, because you're like, okay, I'm not afraid to get involved in a controversial issue. And I'm not sure I want my first time lobbying Congress to be something that it's like, this is a hardcore Republican or a hardcore Democrat issue. And I'm not a hardcore political party guy. I like to look at issues. I look at people and make my decisions. You may think otherwise because you've heard me talk about opinions in a certain way. But for those of you who listen to the show all the time, I think you know that sometimes I agree with Republicans, sometimes I agree with Democrats. But this is one where we got meetings with everybody. Now, when you have a meeting with a congressperson, you don't necessarily have a meeting with the congressperson. And I will say, well, first of all, who did I meet with? Angie Craig. Angie Craig came off the House floor to talk to me. And it was great. She's very supportive. She also maybe wanted to talk a little bit about the Senate race.
I mean,
as you do. It's
as long as you're there.
You're catching up.
Yeah.
Then we got to talk to Michelle Fischbach, which I'm not sure if I've ever met Michelle Fischbach. She is very funny, very engaging. Her office had like the most fun energy in it. Most of the people in there were from her district, from Greater Minnesota, and it was a fun group. She's a Republican. Then we also got to meet with Kelly Morrison, who she is a Democrat, Western suburbs and beyond. All these districts are pretty big other than the Betty McCollum, Ilhan Omar districts. But
big geographically.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Kelly Morrison also spent a good amount of time with us. And it was also the first time I think I had met her. We have some mutual friends who know each other, but like I had never met her before. So that was very interesting.
You know people who know people.
I know people who know people. Exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was staff. Now, my favorite staff visit was a guy who grew up listening to me. And like he didn't
love that one, don't you?
Yeah, it's like a double-edged thing, right? It's cool.
It's flattering, and it tells you that you're old.
Yeah, a guy who's a staffer.
I remember when I was a kid.
He's from Hastings and couldn't have been nicer.
Sure.
And that was one of my big takeaways, that we see the member of Congress, and we have big feelings on all these people, right? This person's corrupt, or this person's an idiot, or this person's that. But in all of these offices, you have largely young people, not only, but largely people in their 20s and 30s who are from the district. Not always, again, like I met some guy from Virginia Beach, so there are people from around, but they have a lot of people from the district.
Sure.
And they're just good people. They're like trying, they dreamed of making a difference in the world. They're working in Congress. Now, some of these offices are cramped. Holy moly. You'll walk in. We walked into Congressman Finstad's office, and it was like, there's a person on my left, there's a person on my right, there are two people on like card table sized desks in front, just jam packed with people.
It's a seniority thing, right? The longer you're in Congress, the bigger your office.
And Senator Amy Klobuchar's office is
spacious.
Yeah. But she also has committee assignments, so she has committee staff. Tom Emmer had two offices. He did not meet with us, but we met with two of his staff members. And that was kind of fun because that, like, I don't know if everyone knows that Tom's daughter is a sports broadcaster in town.
Right.
And I am like a huge fan of hers. So there were big like family pictures on the wall. I took like a couple pictures and texted those to her.
Perfect.
It just was very interesting in that regard. Now, when you come down to the lobbying, sort of a weird deal, because you're like, thank you for your support. I know you support. And I had Wendy Paulson, who was the head of the Minnesota Broadcasters Association, and Joe Johnston, who was a big shot at Hubbard Broadcasting. And those two knew all these legislators, knew all the staffers, had been building relationships. So I'm sort of like, what is my job? Well, my job was to sort of fill in the color of like, we all who work here dedicate our life to this. When severe weather comes in, you stop everything. When we had the political shootings in Minnesota and shelter-in-place warnings, we all stopped everything. I'm in the basement of my house, which was right by the shelter-in-place zone, and we're on the air because that's our main job. So I'm sort of telling that story. And then Wendy and Joe are like, who are you going to call in some other office of somebody who has more power to get this thing scheduled for a vote. It was very interesting. You're like, because
so they're doing the political move.
They're doing the pushing.
And you're there to be the personality.
I'm like, remember me from the news? You don't want to put my business under, do you?
I got kids in college.
It was very interesting. But we had 8 meetings in one day. So I went on local Fox TV in New York because, of course, I did.
Why wouldn't you?
Because the guy who anchors the 11 o'clock news in New York used to anchor morning news in Pittsburgh when I was anchoring morning news here. And at that time of day, the only people up on social media are morning news anchors. So you sort of meet these people online. And he saw I was in D.C. and he's like, hey, can you come on my show? And
sure.
We were walking the White House. We were walking the reflecting pool. We were doing stuff. And like, I had a list of bars.
You didn't touch anything in the reflecting pool, did you?
No, I stayed clear.
Don't do that.
I had a list of bars I wanted to go to, and then I had to
do some TV.
Had to keep it under control on that Monday night. But his show is on at 11:30 at night. So I take an Uber out to Chevy Chase, Maryland at 11 at night, and the 2 people who were with me are like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this segment? I'm like, I don't know. Like,
because he asked.
He asked. Why would I say no?
Can't think of a reason.
I take the Uber out to Fox 5 DC, do the bit, do the show, and then the anchor drove me back to my hotel.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Very kind.
But then I was up next morning at 6:30 because our first meeting was at 9 a.m.
Stuff to do.
There's a lot of security.
Sure.
There also are underground, like tunnels and subways even. There's a subway underground that will take you like from the House office buildings to the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And so it felt a little like the Tunnel of Love at the State Fair. Like it's of that era, except it wasn't dark and there was none of that.
Yeah, no.
No hanky-panky. No hanky-panky. It was a cool experience. Do I think it made a difference?
Can't prove it didn't.
Yeah, I think, one of the staff members said to us that he was hearing the public service announcement, the call your congressman or call your congresswoman and tell them you depend on AM. And we're like, what does it take? What do you need from us? And he's like, I don't need anything from you guys. He's like, but when the people apply the pressure, it is noticed. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was interesting. The other frustrating thing is when you have 300 House sponsors and 61 Senate sponsors on a bill, as an American, I would think that would be enough and then that bill would be passed. And that is not how Washington, D.C. works. You can have bipartisan, overwhelming support, and if the cards don't line up right for you, or if one guy in leadership wants to attach one other thing to it, then you're hosed. And it's sort of a crappy way to make policy.
Yeah.
It's horse trading. It's who's got the power. It's what people don't like each other. Even like you may think, the Republicans are in power. If all the Republicans want it, shouldn't it go? Well, what if one Republican doesn't like another Republican and then it becomes a thing?
We've seen that dance plenty of times.
So what you do is you knock on the doors. And I was grateful that all these offices took the time even to give us 15 minutes. Last night, though, I was tired. I was tired after all of that. If you want to tell your legislator that you depend on AM, you're never going to guess what the website is. It is dependonam.com. So if you go to dependonam.com, there's a spot where you can send an email to your legislator, and that would be a good way to tell people that you don't want consumer choice to be limited, and you want to have AM in the dashboard. 4:32 in a minute. I am extremely curious about what's going on in the Boundary Waters and the big wildfires up north. Because as always, it becomes a political thing. Is this climate change? Is this incompetence? Is this just the natural life cycle of the forest? Well, we've got an expert in northern Minnesota forestry right here at the University of Minnesota. We're going to talk to Lee Freilich in just a minute here on Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
The American Cancer Society is turning up the volume in the fight against cancer. Join us for the Champions of Hope Gala presented by Sandvold Financial Group in an unforgettable night to rock out cancer. Live entertainment, exciting auctions, and a community united to make a difference. Put on your rocker flair, help fund life-saving cancer research and patient support programs right here in our community. One night, one mission. Let's rock out cancer. Save the date for Friday, November 13th and visit hopemn.acsgala.org to learn more.
Not everyone can afford a luxury home. That means if you're selling one, you need an agent who can find the right buyers. The John Schuster Group Coldwell Banker Realty can find the perfect match for any type of home. It's Vanita. Rudolph and Mary just worked with the Good Neighbor agent to sell their home in Forest Lake. They owned a beautiful home right along the water that most of us could only dream of living in. They were a little worried that since their home wouldn't be a fit for most people, that their home wouldn't sell for its full value. They're listeners of ours, and they knew they had to give John a call after hearing me tell you about John's marketing system. It reaches thousands of potential home buyers every day and helps him routinely sell houses fast and for the most money possible. Rudolph and Kathleen's home got multiple offers and sold for $275,000 over the asking price. Curious what your home is worth? Just type in your address, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back to school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back to school. Staples, that was easy.
All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back to school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back to school. Staples, that was easy.
Hey, Jordana, I'm Brian. I'm 58 and single. I have a house, bunch of investments.
Time to find out how it's moving on the road. Now, the latest conditions.
Good to find an accident working West 36 near Cleveland Avenue. The activity off to the right side. Your slowdowns beginning back at Lexington. East 36, that's jammed up as you make your way from 35W over to Hamlin. South 35 East slows as you move past Victoria Street, 100 northbound. Got some slowdowns there. Highway 62 to 394. Joey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, forecast time. It is hot, hot, hot. Chris Schaefer has the latest for us. Chris?
Our heat wave rolls on. In fact, the extreme heat warning has been extended till 9 p.m. on Friday now. Mainly clear tonight outside of the wildfire smoke, 74 the overnight low. Mostly sunny the next couple of days, 94 tomorrow, 95 Friday. Should stay in the 90s this weekend, finally cooling down early next week.
It is 95, feels like 101 in downtown Minneapolis on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
He's known for the slow burn. He wanted to keep it organic, and I'm still begging for it. More controversy.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
On these hot days like today, I bet you are grateful to have a tight window in your house. Minnesota is sort of the capital of the window business. And a couple weeks ago, I was emceeing this Entrepreneur of the Year Awards that is presented by EY. And one of the winners is a company that I've tracked and followed for a long time. And just admire the heck out of this family business that really has its heart and soul in War Road, Minnesota. Marvin was honored as Entrepreneur of the Year 2026 Heartland Award, and Christine Marvin, the Chief Customer Officer of the company, is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline to talk a little bit about it. Christine, it's good to visit with you again.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
Congratulations. That was honestly, it was a very emotional moment as your family and as Paul Marvin was talking about what War Road means to the company. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, I can. And it was wonderful seeing you, and you did a great job emceeing.
Thank you.
But on the piece of War Road, I think what makes it special is that it's still home. We've expanded, but War Road is still headquarters, and it has been since 1912. And we're committed to staying headquartered here. It's a commitment to the community, but it's also, and I think this is the recognition that came from EY, there's innovation and staying rural and growing and managing a company from our location. And we believe it's a strategic advantage today to continue to remain headquartered here. One of the things I like to say is that it keeps your decision making and the ripple effects of decision making front and center. When you're close to the teams that help make the product that go to our customers, yes, we get out and market and we're with our customers, but it keeps us grounded. And we jokingly say you can't get too big for your britches when you're based here either.
There is a work ethic, I think, and there is an understanding and sort of this two-way relationship with War Road and with Marvin, right? Because the company was founded, more than almost 115 years ago up there. And you think you don't think of a company that old as being entrepreneurial. When you think of an Entrepreneur of the Year award, sometimes you think of like the startup that some kid comes up with. But you know differently, right?
Well, the fact that we've been around since 1912, you don't get here by accident, and there has to be constant innovation or thinking about doing things differently or responding and growing with the market to still be relevant in 2026. And I think this idea of having a company that's rooted in such legacy, right? To get here, you are doing things different. You're adapting. We say that if you're not growing, you're dying, and we're not seeking growth for growth's sake by any means. But we do have a mission to stay relevant for our customers, our dealers, those that choose Marvin, and that drives us. Creating meaningful work drives us, and when you bring those things together, you're always looking for a better way, and that's why we're here today. In fact, we have over 9,000 employees now. And then when I think about the family side, we're still family owned and led. And we have 9 full-time working family members for the business today. So we're in the 5th generation.
That's crazy. You're 4th generation, right? And
I'm 4th.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is it hard to work with family?
It's a question. It's a question.
That's a long pause, Christine. That sounds yes.
That's actually really embarrassing. I would say that I love it, and I don't think that there's anything more meaningful. When I reflect on my career, and we grew up in this organization, and what makes this organization great is others who help nurture you and help bring your values and mission to life. But the thing that unites all of us on the family side is why this business exists. We all have a shared purpose, and that's what unites us. There are great times and there are hard times, but when you're committed to the purpose, you work through it together. I would say that, again, looking at my time here, and it's been nearly 20 years, it's I reflect on those moments where I got to sit at the table across from my grandfather. When I sat at the table with my uncles and my aunts, and the learning that took place, on the job, and that development, I will cherish that forever. Yeah. Being able to work with my cousins and my sisters, it's something very special.
Christine Marvin is with us from Marvin, based in War Road, windows and doors. With this hot weather, Christine, I can't help but ask about, the fact that you're in War Road certainly gives you testing capability to test those windows for extreme cold weather, but Minnesota does really give you the opportunity to run these products and this technology through all of the extremes.
That's right. And guess what I found out here, Jason, or what I learned? So I'm based up here in War Road. We got to like 98, 99 degrees the other day, and I believe it was even a little warmer than Minneapolis, which rarely never happens. But it is right. Your windows and doors make a big difference in the comfort inside your home, helping keep that hot heat out, welcoming it in the winter. And with glazing technologies and coatings, we can make sure that, you know, we're offering the right kind of solutions, whether you're in Warroad, you're in Minneapolis, Alaska, down to Texas.
A texter says that Marvin does an amazing job of supporting their hometown high school robotics team too. There is some obviously, you know, kind of goodwill there, but there's some self-interest too, right? You got to grow the next generation of science and technology and engineer and math leaders, right? And you also need to grow people who want to stay in Warroad or want to move to Warroad.
Our robotics program is incredible. So do you know our water tower? Just quickly, we have hockey sticks on it, right? It says Warroad.
Right.
Whatever the robotics icons would be, you could put that on there too. And but it takes a village. I mean that, Jason, because the high school instructor that we have that has built this program for over a decade is phenomenal. Phenomenal. He's an innovator himself, and he has changed the lives of individuals that have gone off into the world, beyond Warroad, beyond Marvin. Some come back, right? Many come back. We would love for them to come back, but more than anything, what you're doing is you're allowing individuals who grew up in Warroad, in this community, to play on the world stage. And that's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
My kids actually are involved in the youth robotics programs, and I feel very grateful, and we're very blessed to have the volunteers and the talent locally that are making a difference. And I mean, from Warroad, there's great skill sets that are launching into the world.
Christine Marvin is with us. One question before we go, Christine, and there may be potential entrepreneurs out listening to this right now. What advice would you give people who are thinking about whether it's taking that leap and starting their own thing or being entrepreneurial in their own business? What have you learned that you would share?
One of the things would be take chances, fail fast, learn, keep evolving, keep moving, and always bet on yourself.
Pretty great. Christine, I appreciate you. Congratulations, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Jason. Take care.
Christine Marvin from Marvin Windows and Doors in Warroad, and they're all over the country, all over the world. We'll break in a minute. The update on the wildfires, the science behind it, what's going on. We'll get into it in minutes here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha, tuned up and rolling, thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
Nobody wants to mess around with expensive insurance, with terrible coverage, and you don't have to. It's Jason here for the Canopy Group and the canopygroup.com. That's where you can go to start that process and get a quote. And I say you're going to want to get to the canopygroup.com because you probably have one insurance agent who represents one insurance company. It's the way we've all done it. Most of us have our parents' insurance company or the company that's up the street or whatever. The Canopy Group does things differently. They match you with the best coverage for the best price. 50 professionals working for the Canopy Group. They're in Belle Plaine, Le Sueur, and Minnetonka, and they represent 16 reputable companies. That benefits you by giving you one place to go to. Annual checkups where they run your scenario through all these companies, making sure that you always are getting the best coverage for the best price with no headaches. 800-967-3389 or thecanopygroup.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And the match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog. Well, they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Our front paws, hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, you! Yeah, I'm talking to you! We got a show and it's Guys and Dolls at Chan and Dinner Theaters. It's terrific and delicious because you got dinner and a show. Don't take my word, everybody's loving it. The Pioneer Press called it a must-see. Star Tribune called it eye-popping and blazing with brilliance. I heard a lady from Eden Prairie say this is the best show she's ever seen at the Chan. Grab your doll or your guy. Get your family over here for Guys and Dolls. Visit ChanHasItDT.com.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Got some problems over on the east side of the metro. I-94 is currently closed as you make way toward Keats Avenue. It's due to a serious injury crash. Again, East 94 closed until further notice at Keats Avenue. Traffic is packed and stacked. You're using the ramps, by the way, to and from 94 and Keats to work your way around it. But in the meantime, expect the slowdowns to make your way toward 694, 494. North 52 slows across Lafayette Bridge. Got some slowdowns yet. West 36 as you make way between Lexington and Cleveland Avenue with a crash off to the right shoulder. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn McCreevy Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services has been providing compassionate and personalized service for over 160 years. Honor your loved one and ensure your own wishes are met. Call 612-377-2203 or visit washburnmccreevy.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Thanks to Washburn McCreevy Funeral, Cremation, and Pre-Planning Services. Extreme heat warning in effect through 9 p.m. Friday, so it's going to be hot until 9 p.m. Friday. 74 is the low tonight. Tomorrow, 95 is the high. 95 on Friday. Right now, it's 95 on CCO.
The ride home deserves better conversation. Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Lots of concern, of course, throughout Minnesota and throughout the country, really, about the wildfires or the Boundary Waters. Evacuations have been underway, and we have a lot of questions about the changing climate, how much of that is a factor, and just the ecology up north. How long are these wildfires likely to burn? We want to bring in Dr. Lee Freilich, the director of the University of Minnesota's Center for Forest Ecology. Lee, you're an expert on the fire ecology of those forests in northern Minnesota. We appreciate you joining us today.
Nice to be with you.
How concerned are you about the fires that are burning up there right now?
I guess I'm pretty concerned because there are 5 significant fires burning all at once. So if we don't get some wetter weather soon, that we could see hundreds of thousands of acres burned. We're up to 65,000 acres right now, which is about 100 square miles. So yeah, it's a really significant situation. And, the burning season is longer these days. The heat waves are worse, evaporates more water from the vegetation. So yeah, it's a concern.
One of the things that makes our wildfires up north unique is the actual tree canopy up there. It's, and of course, I think a lot of our listeners know these are evergreen, these are fir, these are spruce trees, and there are concerns about just how flammable those trees are, right?
Yeah, the spruce and fir in particular are explosively flammable. They have the pitch in them, which gives them their smell, and that's very flammable. And the needles are are very narrow, which means there's good oxygen supply all around them. So there's basically a high density of fuel with a good oxygen supply, and it's ready to go if there's an ignition.
One of the forest supervisors at a news conference said yesterday that he thought the only thing that was going to put out kind of the largest fires would be snow, which is sort of staggering to hear. Is that your belief as well?
Well, yeah, I mean, the snow will put it out for sure. But as we all know, in Minnesota, you can go from drought to flood. You can have a sudden weather pattern change. But short of that, where we go into a pattern with repeated heavy rain events, they could very well burn until there's snow.
Our guest is an expert when it comes to the forests up north, when it comes to forest ecology. Lee Freilich, who is the director of the U of M Center on that. So, everything today becomes so political, right? And people want to get into whether this is a result of human-caused climate change, whether a forest fire like this, would be inevitable anyway, whether we've seen things like this before. How do you sort of make sense of, is this a bigger problem today because of the changing temperatures and the warming climate in our area? And how much of this is just, look, forest fires have been around forever?
Yeah, well, it's both. I mean, historically, we've had big forest fires that are tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of acres in the boundary waters. In 1864, for example, in 1801. So we've reconstructed those big fires in the past. So big, high-intensity fires are normal in northern Minnesota. But right now, it's really the fact that we suppressed fire over the last 100 years. So a lot of forests are in a late successional stage, which is more flammable. Plus the fact that fires are normal there, plus the fact that we have a warming climate. So you can't separate any one factor. They're all working together, and climate is definitely playing a significant role.
When you say late successional, does that just mean old, like these are old trees that have been around a long time and perhaps their time is up?
Yeah, late successional means that a lot of the species that we mentioned earlier, especially the balsam fir and the spruces, are more abundant, whereas in the past, when fires were more frequent, they were not as abundant on the landscape. So fires may not have been quite as intense. So our past management of the land is an issue.
Lee Freilich, director of the University of Minnesota Center for Forest Ecology. We know that wildlife managers typically like to let a fire burn if you can. There are benefits to having the forest sort of burn down so it can regenerate. In this case, there's just so much going on up there. It's hard to see an avenue where it would be an advantageous thing to just let it burn. What's sort of your take on that?
Well, these fires are intense enough that they can't really suppress them.
And they haven't been they haven't been dropping chemicals or anything like that. They seem to be acknowledging what you're saying, that there's not a ton they can do about it.
Yeah, the best thing to do is get people out of the way, and then they can look for opportunities. For example, if a little bit of rain falls and it's not enough to put it out, or the humidity gets higher, or one of the fires runs into a swampy area, they might be able to jump on it and suppress it. But basically, when they're making their big run on a hot, dry, windy day, there is no such thing as suppression. And the best thing to do is just to get people out of the way.
Yeah. And hope for some luck, right? Either rain or, like you said, the fire winding itself into a little bit more of a wetland.
Yeah, those would help.
Ugh. It's a tricky situation. It's sad to see, of course, in this summer, a lot of people like to get up there and enjoy the beauty of the Boundary Waters. There is beauty in this smoke and in the fire and the sunsets, but obviously there is quite a bit of concern about safety and air quality and and all of that as well. It is the power of nature to a certain degree, though, isn't it, Lee?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah. Lee Freilich, director of the University of Minnesota Center for Forest Ecology. We appreciate the insight and your history and your experience today. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
Lee Freilich giving us some insight on these fires. And a texter saying, as you go from Plymouth to Maple Grove on 494, it looks like a brick wall of smoke. Yeah, the wind just blowing that smoke down. It's part of why we're in an air quality alert through 11 a.m. on Friday. Continental Diamond time check. It's 4:57. ABC News is next.
Twin City Framers is the industry leader building the largest wood frame projects in town, and they have immediate openings for carpenters. Here's the deal. Large multifamily carpentry pays an average of $5 an hour more than single-family homes. This is your opportunity to work for the best of the business and make more money today. If you're a carpenter or know someone looking for better pay, better hours, great benefits, and on-the-job training, then look no further. Go online to TwinCityFramers.com and apply for an immediate position today. That's TwinCityFramers.com.
Let's make this summer your best summer ever. Jason here for Luther Kia of Bloomington, and Luther Kia Bloomington wants to upgrade your ride. Outstanding prices. $399 a month. Sign and drive lease offers on Seltos, Sportage, Nero, and K5. Get out of here. Plus $750 owner loyalty cash on the stunning Kia Telluride and the Telluride Hybrid. Best cars for the money on the market. Check out their brand new facility, now open at 35W and 494. Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
News Talk 830 WCCO, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump met with top officials in the Situation Room last night to discuss options for expanding military action against Iran. It included possible targets that could be hit in the coming days, that according to multiple sources. Today, the U.S. military carried out daytime airstrikes against Iranian defense systems, and Iran fired at U.S. assets in the region. ABC's Lama Hassan says the U.S. naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz also back in place.
In response to this blockade, the IRGC has threatened to stop all energy exports from the Middle East. They said that the export of oil and gas from the region will either be for everyone or for no one. Now, as for the Strait of Hormuz, we know that both the U.S. and Iran are struggling to control the strait, but the Iranian regime is adamant that they are the guardians of the strait, and even go on to say that it will remain closed until the U.S. stops its bombing campaign.
In San Francisco, Coast Guard search and rescue teams have not found 3 missing people who were on board a boat that began taking on water near Alcatraz yesterday. 1 person died after being found. Officials say at sunset, the mission will shift to recovery. Coast Guard Captain Jared Tosco.
Our crews have now been out there for 23 hours straight. They've cumulatively covered 950 square nautical miles. In addition, they've searched over 1,700 miles of track line, utilizing 11 surface assets and 4 aircraft.
In Texas, water rescues increasing due to life-threatening flash flooding.
A rare high-risk alert in effect as some areas could see an additional 10 to 15 inches of rain in the coming days, increasing the risk of life-threatening flash floods. Parts of Texas Hill Country seeing more than a foot of rain in the last 24 hours. Governor Greg Abbott issuing disaster declaration in 59 counties.
ABC's Faith Abube. Argentina beat England today in the World Cup semifinal. They'll take on Spain this Sunday in the final. You're listening to ABC News.
Minnesota's trusted voice every every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, humid, smoky, 95 degrees under an extreme heat warning. It is 5:02. I'm Laura Oakes. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency now issuing an updated air quality alert showing conditions worsening in the Twin Cities. Several counties in the metro are now in the very unhealthy category until late Friday morning. And the region showing hazardous air quality has been expanded to include areas just north of the metro and farther into north central Minnesota. Forecasters are also saying the heat will exacerbate health impacts during the poor air quality and that the alert may need to be extended for parts of the state beyond Friday morning. We are hearing from the Minnesota Incident Command Team on the scene of those raging wildfires in northeastern Minnesota and some of the surprising and very detailed aspects of what they're talking about today.
Extreme conditions in northern Minnesota with high winds, low humidity, and blistering heat, all making it difficult for firefighters. Superior National Forest Fire Management Officer Nick Petrak says there were 1,000 lightning strikes during a storm in June, setting off small fires that have burned deep into the ground.
Oftentimes when it gets really dry, the fire will come down and then kind of burn in the duff before it comes back and reaches the surface. So your needle litter, your grasses, that's what's carrying the fire for the most part.
So far, the wildfires have burned more than 44,000 acres of land. Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Two groups of YMCA campers from Minnesota are back home safe and sound after being rescued. Governor Walz today thanking Canadian authorities for their help.
It took one call, and over the night, all their forces were activated to go and rescue Minnesota campers from the Y. And that speaks volumes to our neighbors from Canada, our friends who've always been there. And I am just incredibly grateful.
The governor also extending the emergency declaration for another 30 days. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison filing a lawsuit against a local e-cigarette manufacturer. Ellison alleges Maduro Distributors has been selling banned vape flavors like cotton candy and others he says are marketed to teens through its brand called The Loon. Local breweries that also produce THC beverages are bracing for the worst as a federal mandate threatening to upend their industry is set to take effect in less than 4 months. Current state law allows edibles to contain up to 5 milligrams of THC and beverages up to 10 milligrams. But come November 12th, the amount per serving would be reduced to 0.4%. Bob Galligan is with the Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild.
If the language does go through and the products become illegal, that doesn't mean the closure of some of these companies, including some of our craft brewers. But there's no point in closing them prematurely because a week or two before the ban comes through, there's a possibility that the lights will, stay on.
Galligan says they've been working with members of the state's congressional delegation to try to get the ban delayed or to rework regulations on the products. WCCO News Time is 5:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Heads up if you're headed to Woodbury. Highway is closed, East 94 at Keats Avenue due to a serious injury crash. Again, East 94 closed at Keats Avenue. Until further notice, use the ramps to and from Keats to work your way around it. But in the meantime, you're packed and stacked beginning back at Highway 120, heading up to the scene of the wreck. If you're going to be traveling along Highway 36 eastbound, got some slowdowns there, making your way toward White Bear Avenue, heading out toward 694. West 694 slows up to Silver Lake Road and 252. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
It stays hot, it stays humid, and now it gets hazy. Our extreme heat warning's actually been extended through 9 p.m. on Friday now, and we'll have air quality issues as well because of the smoke from the wildfires up north. Mainly clear tonight, down to 74 outside of the haze. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow with a high of 94. Friday, sunny up to 95. Finally, some relief early next week.
Mostly cloudy right now, 95, feeling like 101. We are under that extreme heat warning, starting to get smoky as well. I'm Laura Oakes, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Whether you're in the office or heading to a job site or on the couch in your jammies because your boss thinks remote working is still cool, you can stay connected to what's going on with News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha, fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
Back from Washington, D.C., where I did not single-handedly save AM radio, but I do think I got the time change rigmarole canceled. The House voted to get rid of
Now shut up and drive.
the twice a year, spring forward, fall backward. It's not what I asked for. That's not what I wanted. It's going to be dark. I don't know, Matt. Am I the only one who doesn't really care? I don't really care. If you want to keep it, it's kind of nice in Minnesota where, you know, instead of the sun coming up and a little bit of lightness emerging at 9:25 in the morning, you see it at 8:25 in the morning. But other than that, like, we're all going to make it. I drove to work in the dark of early morning for 10 years, and only like a couple times were people driving the wrong way down the highway at me. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We're going to keep it in Washington with a question that I'm curious what you guys think about. Tomorrow night, the President of the United States is doing a primetime address. There was a time that presidential primetime speeches were big deals. Today, the track record of those speeches is not exactly big deal worthy. Right now, ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC are debating, should we carry the speech live tomorrow night or should we not? I do not think, especially in light of President Trump's last groundbreaking Iran war-related speech that didn't say jack, I don't think the networks have any obligation to broadcast this speech. And in fact, I think they should not. 651-461-9226. I know what you're going to say. Of course. Anti-Trump, CCO, WDFL over there. DeRusha and his DSA cronies. The president has not given a track record of saying things that are significant to the country. And I do not think network television should turn over the airwaves for Trump. We are in a world where you can find it if you want it. We'll be carrying it here on WCCO Radio. I think it's fair to ask you, should we? At least I think we are. Chad said we are, and I'm pretty sure he runs this place. Just ask him. So we're going to broadcast it. There's no Twins game. If there was a Twins game, I'm sure we wouldn't be broadcasting. I do think the presidential primetime address should be saved for matters of significant importance. A war, a national emergency, 9/11. Maybe even if you're saying, like, we're going to have a primetime address to talk about some massive healthcare program or some massive, or, you know, something that's really critical that says, America, stop what you're doing and listen to this. Washington Post has been reporting that this primetime address is focused on the 2020 presidential election. Now, the President of the United States is absolutely obsessed with the fact that he lost the election in 2020. He wants to say it was rigged. He wants to say it was unfair. He wants to say it was stolen. He wants to say voting machines, blah, 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 blah. putting aside the patheticness of this, it would be like me coming on the air to complain about the fact that in 1993, Jason DeRusha, was in the final round of the state radio speaking competition. The judges ranked me number 1 in the state of Illinois. I was the radio speaking champion of Illinois, and then I was disqualified. This is a true story, by the way. I was disqualified because in a technicality that will come as no surprise to Dan Cook, the producer of this program, I went over time.
What?
I know. Who would have seen it coming?
Certainly not me.
The time limit was 4 minutes and 50 seconds to 5 minutes and 5 seconds. As I got to my sign off, I looked at my stopwatch and realized the clock was running. It was getting close. And I said, for WINK News, I'm Jason DeRusha. Hit the stopwatch.
And that puts you over budget?
By 1/100th of a second.
No.
I called my mom and told her what happened. And she said that I didn't sound that upset. And I said, well, I screwed it up. It should have never been that close. She's like, well, were you over? I said, they said I was over. It was a different time. It was a different time when you would accept the result and move forward with your life. Donald Trump, in fact, has won another election, and he's still going to ask for prime time territory to come and relitigate that election. And I'm sure there's going to be some other stuff, like just do a speech. It's a power game for Donald Trump. He wants the attention. He wants now the army of MAGA, which loves nothing more than freaking out at the corrupt news media. In fact, they love it so much that it makes it difficult to take the legitimate complaints about the news media seriously because it does not really matter. And so that will be the complaint. So if you are CBS or ABC, what do you do? What do you do? Texter says you can bet your sweet Biffy that if it were a Democratic president calling for TV news time, you would have it on there for sure.
So predictable.
Give me an example of a Democratic president giving a primetime speech that was later overwhelmingly deemed to be unnecessary. Now, this has been discussed with other presidents. Other presidents had a bad. I'm sorry, Republicans, I know you are in charge of the victim complex here, but every president hates the media. Every president thinks they get an unfair shake with the media.
And every president has asked for, do a primetime speech at some point and been told, no, sorry, that one doesn't cut it. Including Democrats.
It's true. Now, you could say, look, it's summer. What else is on? Are we giving up Big Brother? So I get it. FYI, Joe Biden's September 22 speech. He asked for prime time, and the broadcasters determined the speech was more political than newsworthy, and they didn't air it. Amazing.
Joe Biden?
I believe he's a Democrat.
Really?
I believe he's a Democrat.
But our texter said that.
2022. I hate to blow up the narrative. So that did happen. You can find this stuff. I do think the deference should be to the president. In this case, it's not even quite clear if the president has asked the networks for prime time, but you better believe he's going to complain about it if he doesn't get it. you're sort of in a no-win situation. Because if you give the president the time, then Democrats say, like, well, you're just letting this guy give election conspiracy stuff. And yeah, you fact check it afterwards, but we all know that's not the same. I feel like you need like Mystery Science Theater style.
The riff tracks kind of thing.
We need like the comment.
There was a lefty in the comments earlier saying, I heard Chad say that you're going to have that speech on bleepity bleep. You better have a fact-checking program on right after it. I'm sorry. That's
and Andrew says, I understand where Andrew's coming from on Facebook when the president, or on YouTube, when the president is addressing the nation, all news networks should always broadcast it, no matter what that president is vomiting. And I do get that perspective. I actually lean in that direction more than saying we shouldn't. And I know you feel
I do too. But I would say, the networks now have an out in that, because when we say networks in this context, we're talking about the over-the-air networks, right? We're not necessarily talking about the cables. The cable newsers will absolutely carry this, I would think.
You would think so.
And the networks all
now or whatever.
Maybe not, but they'll certainly talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, why wouldn't
which is
you?
as good as them broadcasting it anyway.
Yeah.
But all those over-the-air networks now have streaming connections, right?
Right.
CBS, ABC, NBC, they all have these online streamers, so they can say, well, we'll put it on those, and that's our nod to the president making a primetime address, so it gets airtime. But we're not giving up, ad time for our regular shows for something that's, in this case, if it is what the reporting says it is a rehashing of old grievances that isn't going to really do anything or educate anybody or go anywhere.
The White House press secretary said anonymous sources are speculating about what president will say. Oh, Major Garrett talked about this today, right? With Chad. Can we listen to a little bit of that? I know Major is on with Chad all the time, and they discussed this issue today.
Those conversations are going on, and networks are not obliged by license or any other dictum to take or heed a presidential request for prime time. Presidents are given a fair amount of deference because historically, White Houses occupied by Republicans and Democrats have been pretty circumspect when they make a request of this nature. But not every request is fulfilled. Barack Obama was not given prime time when he requested it one time on a speech about immigration policy during his presidency. So the networks don't have to do this. There are also streaming alternatives that did not exist a decade ago.
Sure. Yeah.
Which are sort of an off-ramp, not network time, but they're prominent under the identified branding of the various networks. And then cable can make its own decisions. Those conversations are going on. And to your point, Chad, they always go on, unless it's an obvious case of a declaration of something. If it's war or wartime, the networks always give presidents primetime space because it is of such obvious national interest, news and otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you can hear that whole conversation on the Chad Hartman Show podcast. But it is, I thought it was important to talk about because it's not an anti-Trump conspiracy. And part of the challenge you get into is if you're a network executive and you say, well, what we're going to do is we're going to just let the president do his thing because we don't want to be accused of being the liberal media. I can tell you that Trump supporters do not care. You are not going to get credit for airing the speech because they'll just say, well, of course you had to. He is the president. You don't get credit for that. So if you're trying to play the let's appease our critics game, it's a losing game. You should make the decision based on whether you think this is of enough importance. And then there's also it sort of stinks that we have to weigh this and think about it, right? Texter correctly says, as long as the Food Network doesn't preempt a new episode of Beat Bobby Flay on Thursday night, I don't care. Totally get it.
And that's a great joke. But there is that element to the fact that television is so fractured now. There's so many different options for people to tune into.
Yeah.
That, if you want to find it, you'll find it. And if you don't want to find it, there's plenty of other stuff on television.
Enough is coming our way in a couple minutes. Our biggest story on CCO today has been the fact that the president has endorsed Mike Lindell for governor of Minnesota over Lisa Dameth, over Kendall Qualls. If you want to react to that, does that tell you that Republicans don't really want to win in this state? Mike Lindell's not going to win the general election, is he? No matter what you think about him. When you're thinking about voting in the primary, are you thinking about winning? 651-461-9226. Do you want to pick a winner in the general, or do you want to pick somebody that you just like what their beliefs are? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
I want you to feel like yourself again. It's Jason with Livia Weight Control Centers. You know that Livia changed my life. You know that Livia is a great place to go when you're looking to lose weight, when you're looking to feel better. What I didn't know is that there's so much more to Livia. They have really evolved in so many different directions now because, well, you and me, we're evolving. There's a lot more that we are interested in. And when you go to their website at livia.com and you hover over the Our Programs tab, it's sort of amazing. Like, of course, the nutrition services, which helped me lose 45 pounds and keep that off for 4 years. But there's medical weight loss. There's GLP-1 medications. There's hormone replacement therapy, HRT, testosterone. They're doing that. NAD+. They're doing all sorts of things because Livia wants to be your one-stop shop to feeling your best. Do you want to lose weight? Yes, they got you. Do you want to improve your energy? They can get you there. How about just feeling better than you've ever felt before? Get to Livia.com. You do the exploration that I've been doing. Discover everything that Livia has to offer you. LIVEA.com. That's Livia.
You take care of your dog out of love and responsibility. But what if every scoop that you're feeding them is slowly making them sicker? Not because you're a bad pet owner, but because the pet food industry never told you the truth. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Blank, Amazon #1 best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. Dog food is dead food, stripped of every live nutrient that your dog needs. That's where Rough Greens comes in. Just sprinkle it on top of whatever you're already feeding them. It's packed with live probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, and over 20 live vitamins and minerals, all natural and made in the USA. Thousands of dog owners are watching their pets transform. More energy, shinier coat, better mobility, and your dog could be next. Take the Rough Greens 90-day challenge. Give us 90 days and we'll give you a healthier dog, guaranteed. Get a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. Use discount code USA. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code USA. Rough Greens. So good, your dog will ask for it by name.
Jason DeRusha.
You can't have people telling you 24/7 that you're great. You need people around you to say, hey, that's a bad idea.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
You like it when I wear my hair down, but I say that way it just gets in my eyes. You say that's exactly what you like.
Well, the Star Tribune referred to this endorsement as a political bomb. President Donald Trump's endorsement of Mike Lindell is a 5-alarm fire for many in the GOP. I don't know if it's that extreme. To me, this was fairly predictable. Mike Lindell has been incredibly loyal to President Donald Trump. And so the fact the president endorsed him, I don't think is surprising. I do think that there are a lot of voters out there who are not as fully plugged in on all of the stuff as our listeners are. And if you're undecided about who to vote for governor and you're a Republican and the president said, Lindell's my guy, I think that matters. Now, what's that going to mean electorally? Somebody I was talking to today actually thought that this might be a good thing for Lisa Dameth. Sort of if you look at the 3 Republican candidates as the 2 outsiders and the 1 insider, if you split the anti-establishment vote between Kendall Qualls and Mike Lindell, then maybe that's a lane for Lisa Dameth to slide through. What strikes me about all of this is that Republicans have a reputation of being the ruthless party. They're the ones that want to win. But in the state of Minnesota, Republicans are not a serious party. They do not want to win. And they have proven time and time again that they bring up the least palatable general election candidates. And why? Why? Do you like losing? Do you like complaining about the Democrats all the time? You don't actually want to govern? I just would think after the experience of Democrats running all three branches, the trifecta, the House, the Senate, and the governor's office, that Republicans would be like, screw it, we just want to win. It doesn't matter the conservative purity test. I don't care if you're pro-life or pro-choice. I just care if you can win a general election. But you don't really see this sort of ruthless. Where's the ruthless Republican? The Democrats, which I think conventional wisdom is that the Democrats are sort of the kooky party right now. Like it's the DSA land and it's all these socialists and they care about bathhouses and they don't care about running the government. But the Democrats are the ones that when Senator Amy Klobuchar, the ultimate moderate Democrat insider, said she was going to run for governor, everybody stepped back. No candidate to the left, no Aaron May Quaid, no Omar Fateh, no left-wing DSA socialist candidate stepped up. The Democrats said, no, we want to win. And we're in trouble because of the fraud issue. So Amy Klobuchar sounds good to me. And the Democrats said, like, go get it, Amy. What are the Republicans doing? What are the Republicans doing? It's just sort of amazing to me. Texter says, Jason, I'm an independent who leans conservative. I'm definitely voting in the primary for Qualls, but I would be fine with Dameth. But if the wacky pillow guy accidentally wins the primary, I'd have to vote for Klobuchar, as this guy is as incompetent as anyone who has ever run for office. It's just what I sort of find amazing and puzzling. And Mitchell, who is a frequent critic of mine on X, says he'd be a terrible governor. I'd write you in instead. It's very interesting to me. And what I wonder a little bit is, like, are people delusional? Do they really believe that, I think Mike Lindell could win. I think he'd be a great governor. I just think that's straight up lunacy in this state. There's no chance. So much baggage. And yes, Donald Trump was elected with a ton of baggage. But Mike Lindell is no Donald Trump, right?
And Donald Trump never won Minnesota.
Mike burned his entire business to stay loyal to Trump. Trump is returning the favor, but let's be real, there's 0% chance. I don't believe that. I do believe that Donald Trump endorsing Mike Lindell gives Mike Lindell a very good chance to move through the primary. You have three candidates. The dynamics are so different than if it were just two candidates. You could slide through the primary with, 32% or something? 34%? You really could. So I don't know. No sane Republican wants Pillow Boy, says one commenter. Well, I guess that's the question. What is the electorate? Is it sane Republicans or not? We'll talk about it quite a bit as we get closer. I want to give you a chance to get your grievances off your chest. Enough is coming up in just a couple of minutes. I have complaints. I have airline complaints. I have travel complaints. I have Washington, D.C. I have heat complaints. I have so many enoughs, but I want to hear from you. 651-461-9226. What have you had enough of? We'll take your text, your phone calls, and you can always send us a voice message using the Odyssey app. Drive Time with DeRusha. We're streaming live on video, too. Coming back in a minute.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
IBM is leading a project in which scientists are using quantum computers to optimize the production and extraction of tritium, which is crucial for the production of fusion energy. IBM teamed with scientists from the Oak Ridge National Laboratory and the Cleveland Clinic to calculate 9 molecular configurations of tritium, with the hope of extracting enough supply of the material to obtain clean energy from fusion power plants. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Hey, it's Vanita. We all know how great the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty is. Moni, how did you get started working with the Schuster Group?
It started off with my husband driving to work one morning, listening to WCCO, and a commercial for the John Schuster Group came on. My main contact was Tim Sabin. They posted the listing. By the end of that day, we already had over 600 views. It was crazy. There was one offer that by far stood out way above the rest, over 10% over asking. And they had cash in bank.
If someone is on the fence about hiring the Schuster Group, what would you tell them?
To see it just blow up like that and move so fast and to get so much more over asking, it couldn't have been a more exciting and fun time. Selling that house for 20 years, one of the hardest decisions I had to make in my life. Choosing John Schuster Group, easiest decision I ever made in my life.
952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mira Fiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mira Fiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
94 eastbound remains closed to Keats Avenue, a result of a serious injury crash. It will be closed until further notice. Stop-and-go traffic in place as you make way past Highway 120. Traveling 35W southbound, got your typical slowdowns there. 106th Street has moved down to Highway 13, and 169 southbound jammed up 494 to Highway 101. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
We got a show and it's guys and dolls at Chin Has and Dinner Theaters, and it's a knockout. The Pioneer Press called it a must-see. Star Tribune called it blazing with brilliance. You got gamblers, romance, and show-stopping tunes. Guys and dolls, visit ChinHasandDP.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast time. The smoke is coming down into the Twin Cities much more severely. over the last couple of hours. Here is Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Our heat wave rolls on. In fact, the extreme heat warning has been extended till 9 p.m. on Friday now. Mainly clear tonight outside of the wildfire smoke, 74 the overnight low. Mostly sunny the next couple of days, 94 tomorrow, 95 Friday. Should stay in the 90s this weekend, finally cooling down early next week.
We are under that air quality alert through 11 a.m. on Friday. Extreme heat warning, heat dome, weather watcher blinking at you. Ugh, it's gross. I bet some of our enough will be about this dangerous heat. It is 95, feels like 101 on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
I feel like you're wasting my time talking about something that I wasn't a part of. It's like the most intellectually bankrupt. This is just terrible.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I have had enough. Enough is enough. Enough.
651-461-9226. It's your time. What are you fed up with? It's Wednesday. It already feels like a long week, doesn't it? Let's hear it. Texter's already coming in. Jason, enough of this smoke in the air. I only have 2 inhalers to help me with my asthma. Ooh. If you have breathing concerns, like this sucks. And remember, like, my fear about these wildfires is, what year was it, Dan? It was just maybe a couple years ago that maybe it was last year, where there were so many Canadian wildfires.
I think that was a couple of summers back.
Yeah.
I think so.
Where it kept blowing down. And it was like, it was either hot or smoky, and the summer felt like a fail.
I remember walking out of the building at one point, and you took one breath in, and it's like you were grinding something. The grit was right there in your mouth, right? It was, you put your teeth down together, and it's like you're grinding something. It was just incredible.
I had a couple enough scenarios on the roads today. First of all, I was trying to take a left turn and pull into my parking garage. And there was a lot of traffic in downtown Minneapolis. I know some people think nobody comes downtown, but
war zone.
I sort of assume, and I don't know why there was so much traffic at when did I come to work? 2:00?
2:00, yeah.
On a Wednesday.
Ish.
I assume it was World Cup related.
Yeah,
that
that's
people
probably
were trying to go to Brits or trying to go to the local to watch England, Argentina. I have had enough of people not pulling up enough so I could turn and get into the driveway of the parking ramp. This guy in front of me, I did all the moves. I had my signal on. I at first didn't creep up right onto his bumper, but then I moved up a little bit more, started to angle myself. None of it worked. This guy was not moving. And so I had to sit through about 1.5 light cycles when this guy could have just inched up. He could have just inched up a couple of inches.
What do I always complain about? Spatial awareness.
I was victimized by spatial awareness today.
There was a guy, as I was pulling into the ramp that you know where I park.
I do.
That had pulled over to the curb, had the blinkers on, but had pulled up to the entrance to the parking ramp. Like, had he pulled up another 6 inches, he would have been blocking the whole thing.
Yeah.
But he's the only car on the block, just sitting there with the blinkers going away. So I had to kind of pull around him and make sure he wasn't going to pull into me as I turned into the ramp and managed to get my way in there. But I'm like, of all the places to stop, folks, that's just not it.
Marsha's in St. Paul. Marsha, what have you had enough of?
Well, Jason, this one's a straight out grouse. I was almost T-boned twice on my way home from work this afternoon.
Oh, no.
Just a few blocks apart. I'm on a main street, and the side streets all have stop signs. and they are all trimmed away from the trees so they can see them. I have had enough of people coming into onto the big streets without stopping at the blessed stop signs. Luckily, I saw them not slowing down both times, and I stopped. Before the intersections, I got a weird look from one and a hand signal from the other.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you were just saying, crazy driving out there.
It's terrible. And the lack of stopping at a stop sign is absolutely out of control.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
I don't think they have driver's ed anymore.
I think I'm glad you're okay, Marcia. It is a funny feeling, right? When you have that sort of gut feeling. You see somebody and you're like, this person's going to do something stupid, and then they do it.
Yep, but I'm glad that I'm the grown-up and I can actually control my car and my brake and keep my eyes on the road where they're supposed to be instead of God only knows where.
Yeah, thank you, Marcia.
Yeah.
Very good. 651-461-9226. Jeff is in Sauk Rapids. Jeff, I got a hand signal from another driver the other day on the road.
I get hand signals all the time.
Yeah. In fairness, this guy's in the left lane driving below the speed limit, but I was sort of wedged in, right? So I'm in the middle lane, kind of wedged in. There's a guy in front of me that's like going fast, I'm going slow. So I'm like, I got to get over. But then, of course, like Pokey McPokerton then decides it's time to speed. And so I cut this guy off? Yes. Was it my fault? Yes. Was it preventable if he wasn't driving like a ding dog? Absolutely. But what do you do? Like when somebody gives you the finger while you're on the road, what do you stay in the left lane or do you move over the right lane for the opportunity for the little wave as he goes by? Like a howdy do. Like I like to give a pleasant, like, oh, hi there. Like, you know, or do you just ignore? What's the proper move there? I don't know.
I just ignore him. I put on my sunglasses and stare straight ahead.
What?
And they see me do it.
Yeah, they see. Then they know. That's good. What have you had enough of, Jeff?
I've had enough of people who don't or can't park responsibly.
Yeah.
I went to Quick Trip today, and the handicap spots were full. On the right of one of them was 2 open stalls. I took the one furthest away from it.
Nice.
But I could only get so far because there's a poured curb. And I go in and I come back out and they're sitting diagonally in the middle stall with a pregnant roller skate called a Prius.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get in my truck.
Awful.
I had no choice but to stand there in the heat, the humidity, and the smoke and wait for that old geezer to finally come out. At which point, you remember geriatric jail?
Sure.
There's another one.
Yeah.
At which point he got an earful, which I can't repeat on the radio, but it did have a little something to do with proctology and my cane.
I love it. Thank you, Jeff. That's very good. That's very good. I've had enough of big trucks parking bad, says a texter. Now I was victimized. You know where my car is today on the parking ramp, Dan?
Where's your car on the parking ramp, Jason?
Top level roof.
Ooh,
baking in the sun.
Good. You got one of those screen reflectors that Harrigan hates so much?
No,
come on.
No. And then because there was one open spot on the 3rd level that had a giant pickup truck parked right next to it, I was like, I could be the jerk and try to squeeze in there, but
it's difficult for you to get out, and they're probably going to take a swing at you with the door. And
I don't want my Kia treated like that.
No, it doesn't deserve it.
Dan, what have you had enough of?
We'll find out, Jason.
Oh,
coming up right after this break.
What a tease. What a tease. Drive Time back in a minute. 651-461-9226.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
And on a hot day like this, taking care of your skin, making sure you've got the sunscreen on, it is such a no-brainer. Jason here for my friends at Tureen Dermatology. Dr. Mohiba Tureen is my dermatologist. She's my friend. She'll be your friend, too, the first time you meet her. Tureen Dermatology is an unbelievable place. Well, I say place. They have 11 locations all over the Twin Cities and western Wisconsin. They are strategically setting up clinics in communities where people have had to wait 3, 4, 5 months to get a dermatology appointment. Not at Tureen. 3 weeks. New customers, new guests, new patients. I guess we call them patients in the medical world. New patients get in within 3 weeks. It's pretty awesome. And once you experience the Tureen difference, the incredible care, the beautiful facilities, the latest technology, you're not going to want to go anywhere else. I'll guarantee you that. This July is UV Safety Awareness Month. Know that UV rays cause sunburn. We all know that. But they're also the leading cause of wrinkles, of fine lines, of age spots, and of skin cancer. Get that full body skin checkup. Wear your sunscreen. Wear a hat. But go see Dr. Tureen. Request an appointment at any of those locations at Tureen, Tareen, dermatology.com.
Conversation, not confrontation.
My basis of feeling proud of the country isn't solely dependent on politics.
Thought-provoking.
We live in Minnesota. I mean, we know a thing or two about fraud.
Sharp opinions.
Workplace recycling is among the biggest shams in the history of shams.
Solid Minnesota.
Oh, we only lost 4-3 to the Dodgers. Way to go, team. Stop with the moral victories.
Minnesota's radio station. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When you see this in your kitchen,
This stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Lockridge, and I'm the host of a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the margarita.
And then we're going to investigate those stories and find out how much of it is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. Oh my God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Let's make this summer your best summer ever. Jason here for Luther Kia of Bloomington, and Luther Kia Bloomington wants to upgrade your ride. Outstanding prices. $399 a month sign and drive lease offers on Seltos, Sportage, Nero, and K5. Get out of here. Plus $750 owner loyalty cash on the stunning Kia Telluride and the Telluride Hybrid. Best cars for the money on the market. Check out their brand new facility, now open at 35W and 494. Luther Kia of Bloomington.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Much about Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. East 94 is closed right now as you make way toward 494/694 route in Woodbury. That's because of an injury crash, serious injury crash up ahead of Keats Avenue. Traffic in the backup is able to use the ramps to and from 94 in Keats, but in the meantime, the highway itself is shut down back at 494. You need to use perhaps Lower Afton Road to the south, 10th Street to the north to work your way around it, finding your way around this closure until further notice. Laguna, Minnesota, remind you to slow down when you see orange cones and yellow vests all year round. They're working to improve your infrastructure and build a better Minnesota for you. So please slow down, save lives, keep construction workers safe. Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 8 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Hot, extreme heat warning continues through Friday. Tonight we get down to 74 degrees. You can tell that air quality is smoky. We are under an alert through 11 Friday morning. That might get extended because it's going to be hot all weekend. 94, 95 tomorrow and Friday. Right now it's 95 on CCO.
Steering you through what matters. Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
Enough!
All right, lots of great texts, lots of great messages about what you have had enough of. Dan is ready because he has had enough.
I've had enough, Jason.
I assume it fill-ins for me. You just missed the top-notch quality that I provide. That was going to be it? No?
No, you stepped all over my touchdown call. That was exactly what I was going to say. No. Now, I have had enough of Minnesota and Minnesotans being jerked around by LeBron James.
Oh!
Enough of this, all right?
Yes!
We put our toe in the water. Hey, LeBron, what do you think? Nobody really thought anything was going to happen. And then he didn't say no, didn't rule us out, took our calls, let us make our pitch, and keeps letting us make our pitch.
Yeah.
And keeps letting us make. And now it looks kind of pathetic. Now it's like you've asked the gal out to the prom. She hasn't given you an answer, but it's like a week later. There's other guys, milling around.
Yeah.
If it's a no, just say no. Don't leave us dangling like this.
What do you think about this? Like the Meet Minneapolis people did this, hey, LeBron.
There is nothing more Meet Minneapolis than, hey, LeBron, come to Minnesota.
So thirsty. Hey, LeBron, we heard family time comes first. Minneapolis agrees. You're like, oh, my gosh.
I've had enough of it. If we're not in the mix, LeBron, if it's not legit, just make your pick and quit being such a dang diva all the time. Pick a team and go.
Now, I'm not sure about this one. Hey, LeBron, we heard you won a championship. What a coincidence. Our links have more than a few. I'm just not sure that's the sell. I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a very good one. That's a very good one.
Thank you. I've had enough of it. Come on, LeBron.
I've had enough of people that treat stop signs like they're just a suggestion. Lots of stop sign related texts. I've had enough of sweating in private places. Yeah. There's something about on the plane. I was watching a Curb Your Enthusiasm that had aggressive use of talc. Aggressive use. Do people use talc still? Like the powder,
apparently,
the talc powder?
Enough that you know what it was when you saw it.
Yeah, are you familiar with talc?
I'm familiar, so I'm
it
assuming
feels
people
like
are out
an
there.
old guy thing.
I think
like
it is a
old
very old guy
guys.
thing,
You kind of put it on your pits and put it in your,
No, Jason, where?
Texans have had enough of Trump. Sure. I've had enough of people complaining about me platforming people. This has become a bit of a...
That's usually a lefty complaint, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I posted pictures from my visit to Washington, D.C., and I was very conscious about posting. Like, I posted Angie Craig, and then I posted Michelle Fishbach, and then I posted Kelly Morrison, and I made it clear that this was bipartisan and blah, blah, blah. Text, the immediate, there's a comment like, hanging out with Angie Craig is not a flex. And another comment like, we aren't platforming APAC Angie, though. Stop being a child. We interview elected officials. Your position is not so fragile that the mere appearance of a legislator that you don't like in a photo is enough to threaten. You're like, oh, stop, grow up. Listen to people that disagree with you. Are your arguments that pathetic that you know you're going to be defeated just by the mere appearance of their photo? It's ridiculous. Enough. I think we've had enough of the time we've been given. Continental Diamond time check 5:57. Matthew Collar coming up next here on CCO.
Have you ever reached for a cheers when your favorite song comes on? You're ready to embrace the haze with Hazy Little Thing from Sierra Nevada.